misconceptions. We've got truth in our possession. No room for doubt, no time to waste. It's time to put flat earth in its place. Here comes the smackdown.
Welcome everybody to Tuesday night live, and it's Thursday, but maybe in the time zone you're in, it's a Tuesday. I'm glad you're here tonight. I will be going on TikTok and seeing what the flatties have on TikTok for us. There are some that said that they were interested. Some of the people that were here last week, so we'll see. We'll see if they if they come back. Now there is a requirement on TikTok for them to be on camera. It's a new thing, because why not be on camera? Why be cowardly? All right, it's working. All right, so I'm live on TikTok right now, and I got my earbuds in, and I'm watching it to make sure it's looking right. Is it looking right? Oh yeah, okay. Anyway, hello TikTok, hello YouTube. So if you want to come on the show, you think that the earth is flat, or you think 5G has a problem, I'm up for a one-on-one debate with you. And you need to turn your camera on. So there it is. Should be easy enough for you. In the meantime, I've got a bunch of people on YouTube following along as well. And let's see. This, okay, go away there. All right. Choppy video, restart live with all data restored. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, looks fine now. Anyway, I'll do that. I'll keep trying. So we got a troll in the YouTube chat, Dick Wayne. So he will, when does the sun set? Can you do that science? Thanks. Of course I can. Why do you think this was funny for flat earthers? Right? There should be turnabout. You should be able to handle it. I am gonna restart it. Let's see if it. All right. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I'm on the correct Wi-Fi. I am. Okay. I'm going to restart it because it says I should. Or no, it went away. It doesn't say that anymore. Okay. So my point, I interrupted myself. The problem with flat Earth, of course, is they can't do the things that they say that they demand of the globe. And if they, if they were honest, if they weren't hypocrites, they would be able to do it. Flat earthers can't explain when the sun will set using flat earth. Why not? Well, because the sun isn't flat. Neither is the earth. All right, we got Truby Science. All right, you got to have your camera on. And so I'm going to switch over here. All right, you got to have your camera on. And so I'm going to switch over here. All right, you got to have your camera on. And so I'm going to switch over here. Me on TikTok. Go. It is having a little bit of trouble, isn't it, over there on TikTok? So it is having a little bit of trouble, isn't it, over there on TikTok? So it is having a little bit of trouble, isn't it, over there on TikTok? It was looping on TikTok. Weird. All right, it's restarting on TikTok. It's trying to restart. I don't know if it's restarted yet. It said it was going to take 3 seconds. It's certainly been more than 3 seconds. So, I don't know. We'll see. we'll see what's going on. Anyway, while that's going on, so when does the sun set? So Dick Wayne, the sun sets when it gets obstructed by the horizon, and you can see that most easily when looking over the ocean. So when you're looking over the ocean, so you be ideally, or a large body of water, because then you're not obstructed by the topography that's in the way. But in Minnesota here, there's not a lot of topography in the way, so it's pretty clear. Anyways, when the sun crosses the horizon, and the sun is the same size, the same width as it crosses the horizon as it is midday, and if the sun were over if it was local over a flat Earth, then it would grow and shrink in size throughout the day, but that doesn't happen either. All right. TikTok totally crapped out. I'm going to restart it here. That's not what I wanted. All right. Live. Go live. Now it's going live again. We'll see. We'll see if it can handle it this time. It's loading. Something went wrong. Try again later. What is going on? That's weird. That's really weird. All right. Well, we may not be going on TikTok. I don't know if it's a TikTok thing. Dick Wayne lives on an island. The Pacific Ocean is the coastline. Great. So the sun is setting when it crosses the horizon. No internet connection. That's very strange. I've got a Wi-Fi router right there, and I'm live on YouTube. So why is it not working on TikTok? I don't know. Let me do this. I'll try turning it off and back on again. There we go. Getting back on the Wi-Fi, jumping back on TikTok. There we go. Now it's back. Resume. Hey, it resumed. All right. Awesome. Well, we're back on TikTok live. All right. Take these out so I don't confuse myself. Anyway, welcome everybody on TikTok again. So if you want to join in, you can join in. So there's a flat earther that's super confused. He's in the YouTube chat. He doesn't know what a sunset is. And this kind of lack of understanding of really basic things is a common trait amongst flat earthers. He doesn't know how to figure out what a sunset is. I mean, you kind of got to pity the guy for not understanding it. But they do think that it goes away. It leaves your perspective, whatever that means. I don't know how that means anything. All right, here we go. Truby Science. Got to have your camera on.
My camera on?
Camera's not on, Truby.
All right, hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on. I got to go out to where I'm.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Hold
on. I got to.
All right.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah, so flatties think that the sun sets due to perspective. That doesn't make any sense. Perspective requires that the sun would change in angular size. That doesn't happen. Perspective doesn't cause things to get blocked by something else that's not between you and the other thing. So, all right, hey, there we are.
For an electric bike, I had to move it.
All right. There's a cat. So we've got a bonus there. We've got a chalkboard with actual chemical stuff on it. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, and gravity. And
yeah. So I'm guessing you're not a flurf.
No. Far from it.
Astro Kate Sathix is impressed with the cat.
I know, and she's gonna hate me right now because there's a cable caught under the wheel, and I gotta get it. Tilting there. She's holding on for dear life. She's still here. There she is.
Right.
That's Sonic. This is her chair.
Do I sound better? That's Sonic?
Yeah, Sonic. Yeah, Calico.
Sonic the cat. Nice. Okay. Is this the microphone that's being used?
This would be my mic, but I don't have the headset for it right now, so I'm not even going to plug it in.
I don't know if this is the microphone.
He's on. I got sunburn today. Yeah. Look at that. Look how red my face is.
Oh, that's not the microphone being used. That's too bad. How'd you get sunburned?
Working outside.
All right.
It's all over my arms and everything. That I'll have a tan. I'll have a nice tan. Yeah.
So Jack Fetter, get this. Jack Fetter says, "Crap! I barely recovered from last week's session." And you know what's even crazier, Jack Fetter? Last week's session was actually 2 weeks ago.
Who is winning on the
Top left?
Top left, yeah.
Top left was announced yesterday. The winner.
That's who we all voted for.
Yep. Fred. I think Fred came in third. Yeah,
Fred
Fred's a
was up there
TikToker.
too.
Yep.
Fred was up there too.
He came in third.
Yeah, I was like, now who has an issue with the Earth? Because I have images I could put up, and for the sun, they were saying something about the sun's perspective or whatever when it goes down at night.
Yeah. So poor Dick Wayne, kind of a simpleton. He's in the YouTube chat and he doesn't understand how the sun sets at all. So maybe you can explain it for him because he certainly doesn't understand it.
But any type of wording that I'm going to utilize to try to convey it to him, he's not going to understand. He'll divert from what I'm asking, or it'll just be regurgitated nonsense that we've already heard a billion times.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna, you know what they say. They're like it goes away, it goes out of your perspective. Well, that's just nonsense. That's just word salad. So by applying actual geometry, the sun could never set over flat Earth. So,
no, I have an image. I'm like, is this what happens to your flat Earth? Like the sun, your sun, does it just go into somewhere like the woods and just hide for the night?
yeah. Well, the ancient cultures, generally, not all of them, a lot of them didn't say anything, but the ones that did say things generally said that the sun was down for everybody universally, and that it went somewhere, like through a portal, through a tunnel, underneath the earth, or something like that. So,
and out of all of the time of flight and aviation, we've never seen it actually do that.
No, nobody's ever seen it go into a portal. It's never gone and rode a chariot underneath the flat Earth through a tunnel or a boat of some sort. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just I'm out here. I'm looking for some flatties.
I'm willing to jump down. I don't.
Yeah. Well, there's none yet. They might be a little scared because I went to Antarctica, and they know that they'll just get crushed. So,
I didn't. But I could still determine what the shape of the Earth is through a theodolite.
Yeah.
So
I've got a theodolite behind me here, but I've got this background going to get the flatties to get in here.
what's cool out in Marine State Park, where I live, the whole entire park is man-made, the entire lake. And so there's datums for the measurements across all around it. So I could go and look at the datums and take the measurements. And not just be more Googling. It's like, yeah, this tells me the exact height, altitude, and where I'm at in position on Earth with a high degree of accuracy. utilizing atomic clocks.
They don't get that. They basic if it's not done with a P1000, then it doesn't count,
Yeah,
right?
that's just willful ignorance.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've gone live. So I was like, I got a new phone. I got the old one was kind of crapping out, so I got a new one. I got the S25 Ultra now, so it's not too bad of a device.
Is that I don't know what that is.
It's the newest Samsung, the Samsung
Okay.
S25 Ultra. It
All
comes
right.
with pen and everything. Anybody want to come up?
Yeah. Well, so Buy the Dip was going to come. He's been talking for 2 weeks about coming here, and
I'll watch
he's
it.
like, it was gonna be. Last I talked to him, we were going to communicate over DMs to about tonight, but he never responds. I don't know if he can read them or not.
Nah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Does he have you blocked?
No, no. Does he is he known to block people?
I don't know. I don't.
And Rhonda was all excited. Rhonda, who was on last time, was gonna join, but
I
I
scare
don't
off
know.
flat earthers too. I'm pretty known in the flat earth community. So they see me, they just are like, nah, nah,
Uh,
they don't like it.
hmm. Well, and I don't recognize enough to know if any are in the chat here. Let's see. Okay, helping flat earthers is trying to get some in here, and I get it. Hey, Dr. Bob is here. Bob the Science Guy. It's the Shamrock Banks Observatory. I sent you a DM on Facebook. Have a look at that. Um, uh, so Austin Thompson, a WWF member, we were flat. He's escaped the cult. He's looking to buy a hydrogen alpha telescope. So he's doing a fundraiser. Jaron is helping him. So I'm going to try to get him to come on next week.
Is there anything new that you could divulge on what's going on, like with the defamation and stuff?
So Marty Leeds issued an apology a couple days ago. He buried it amongst 20 other videos. So he did his apology and then either 19 or 20 more videos immediately after that. So if you go to his page, you won't see the apology. He, intentionally buried it. Very dishonest thing to do there.
That's typical. That seems about right on character.
It certainly does. Then I don't know about Flat Earth Dave. He
Is there anything coming from his app alone?
from Mark Sargent or from Flat Earth Dave. Yeah, well, of course his app is still trash.
It's fully, completely vulnerable, and any app tied to it is going to leak your information. I don't understand why. Like, how is it even able to be allowed to on, you know, Apple's network?
Yeah. So the Apple and Google they don't police the second layer or third, the other stuff like that, the data privacy stuff. They can only police to make sure that regular things that they could test, is it using SSH or SSL TLS to do the communication? Is it doing any nefarious, spammy or virusy things in the app? That's the kind of stuff they can look for. They're not able to check whether or not the background database, the background server is secured. That's not their thing. So the app's been reported to be severely flawed, but they haven't done anything. Um, and I don't know how they can do that.
Well, I just recommend no one. I advise zero people to download or put any of your information into that app.
Yeah. Right. Well, I see Rhonda is in the chat making demands. The let's see your math matching the altitude airplanes fly, which of course I did last time, which was very strange that she's asking me to show something that I showed last time to her, but she was busy slapping her face hole, which probably was the cause of her inability to understand and follow along.
Does she want to come up? Do you want me to drop down?
Well, you know what? I think what I'll do is I'll show again, and maybe she'll be able to follow along a little better this time. Oh, okay. Well, come on. I'm searching for it because so I've got a little better set up here. This I've got a mount for my camera so it holds it up a little better. So if I can, right,
There we go. This mount, what's wrong with this one? The reason why I'm like trying to adjust it is because it's loose in the back and it won't hold the phone in the position that I would need it to hold it. So I have
the
to
whole
use
point of a mount, isn't it?
I have to use this wire and put it under the back of the mount just to get it to hold it in the right position. And if it falls out, then it falls in the wrong position. There we go. Yeah, it's funny because I've done vectors. I showed, different math. I tried to explain to them on how theodolites work, and it's like, oh, geez, some of these people are just.
Right. I've got to remove the my background here now.
I keep it down in front accidentally.
What's that?
What are you using? Are you using OBS?
I'm on a phone.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not on Windows, so I can't run the.
Because I have the TikTok app you could run on your computer, and you could run it through OBS. So if you could do YouTube, TikTok,
but you're on Windows, right?
Yeah, I'm on Windows.
Yeah, they don't make the app for Mac yet, so I thought about running an emulator, but that's a hassle. There it is. Okay. Enhance.
Tune is still out, man. We need to convert you to Samsung. Convert you to Samsung.
Samsung?
Android. Like, you got to work with Android.
Yeah, right. I write software, so yeah, that's not going to happen. There we go. All right.
What do you write mostly in? Python?
I write in Java mostly.
Java?
All right. Here we go. This is the back of the mount there, so I think I can fix that. Slide it up a little. All right, Rhonda. We showed this last time. Here you go. Get ready, Rhonda. So the math is, so this is going between the actual photograph and the mathematical prediction. So you see over here on the edge, right there, you see that line there, that thick line right there where the cursor is? That's the mathematical prediction for where the horizon would be at 46,000 feet. And that is also where the horizon is in the photograph.
Matches up.
Amazing. It's curving. The horizon is curving, and the horizon curves matching the amount of curve that is predicted on the globe. So now, Rhonda, if you want to go over the math, you can go over the math. This page covers it all. The problem is, Rhonda, you don't understand math. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge for you since you don't understand math.
What do you?
So let's see you repeat that. You want to repeat it? We'll tell you what, Rhonda.
He's doing it again right there.
You're in luck, Rhonda, because that has been repeated. So, all right. Let's see.
You thought I was a flat earther at first. You forgot who I was. I'm one of
No,
your. I'm your
I saw
monitor.
science in your name, not truth.
I do that. You know why? Like, because they like to run that whole truth in their name stuff. So I
Oh,
just
I
have.
know. Yeah. So, all right, Rhonda, and she's got this one. Um, she's got this one on her that she doesn't like this one either. So, all right. Well, let me show you, Rhonda. You're gonna love this. All right. So this is the first photograph of the curve of the horizon. There's actually one before that, but this one's a little better. This one kind of gets the credit. You've seen this, Rhonda. This is from 1935. I have this myself. I have a copy. I bought myself a copy. So you can see right here this black line that's an overlay that's right next to the horizon over on the left side. And when we go over toward the middle, it bulges in the middle. See that? There's a gap. And then over on the right side here, it comes back together, right? This is so awesome. Now, Rhonda, this is what you're going to love. There's the math right here. So same thing, Walter Bislin wrote an app that predicts the curvature based on the camera settings and the elevation. And here it is. So we've got right there, you see that? There's a gap there between the straight line, of course, and the curve of the horizon. And so this overlay is showing the curve of the horizon that's predicted, and that's the line that's drawn, and the actual horizon, and it matches. So Rhonda, it's been repeated. There we go. So now Rhonda and all flat earthers, it's been done. You requested it. I did it. Now the burden shifts to you,
I
where
wanted to just let you.
you need to explain using geometry, physics, optics how that is possible on your dirt pizza.
All right.
So,
Click on your screen, and it should bring
me,
up an option. Yeah, click on your screen. It should bring up an option that you could change the layout.
okay.
Actually,
Okay.
you should be able to change the layout.
What am I changing it to?
It would be little one in the board, and you take up the most of the screen.
Oh, all right. Well, I already showed Rhonda. So now it's her chance to come on screen. Now she's going to need to get her camera ready, of course, because that was the deal. I let her know a while ago. I see Whatcast in here. Been watching your videos, loving them. So
I will be taking
anyway.
stars and all photos tonight. So if I get clear skies, I'm gone. Just hoping.
All right. All right. Well, Rhonda, this isn't your chance to type. This is your chance to come in live, and Truby will drop out as soon as you come in. You ready, Rhonda? I mean, can I can get you in here, but you got to have your camera on. You just let me know when you're ready. When you got the camera going, and you're ready to cackle here. I did name this this video on YouTube. You're gonna what?
I've been watching you pretty much every day. I jump in and I've
Yeah.
been listening to the story, and I'm like, especially the one with there. I don't know if you jumped into Globey McGlobe's live stream when he was on Globey McGlobeface. He
Nope.
was on, and it was him and Photo Josh.
Okay.
With some new guy I don't know who it was, but it was insufferable how ignorant and like not ignorant as being not knowing, but ignorant like wouldn't let anyone speak, like just pure mental ignorance. Like I don't know how to describe it.
Flat earther.
Yeah.
But they're ignorant. They don't understand these topics. They've been told by their Papa Flurfs all of the things that their Papa Flurfs want them to know, and they think they understand, but of course they don't because they never actually took a science class that they understood.
I
So
know I'm ignorant on a lot of things, but I'm never gonna be ignorant enough to the point I would have to do a lobotomy because I already know enough and observed enough to know what the shape of the earth is.
yeah. All right. All right. Where's Rhonda? Rhonda was super excited, been talking smack for days, and now that I see that the comment there, Rhonda, and runs away, just scampers off. That's okay, Rhonda. I get it. If it was a little too much last time, like I mean, saw that. Like I think she was a bit into me, and I was a little uncomfortable. Um, so anyway, Boston Concert says, "Help me, Rhonda. Don't need your help, Rhonda." Um, Rhonda says, "Bring me up." Well, you need to get your camera going. All right, that's the requirement. You know that.
Do you want me to drop?
Well, if she comes on with a camera, if she doesn't have a camera, then she's not. All right. Rhonda says,
You could fuck off with your camera. You could fuck off with your camera, my ass, buddy.
"Oh,
No,
well,
the
bye,
deal was that your
bye."
math can the altitude an airplane flies. So
There you go. Bye, Rhonda. Told her why. Daniel Falkenbach is a very sad, pathetic person.
That was
He's even more scared than Rhonda, actually. So, but I see him in the chat here. So all he can do is call me a name. Um, anyway, I showed the math for exactly as you asked. I showed the observation. I showed the math. I showed how they match. So that is exactly what we went over last time, and what you thought was the requirement, Rhonda. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity to crush Flat Earth again, Rhonda. I appreciate it. Now, of course, you have the burden. You need to explain using geometry, math, optics, physics, how that works, how it's predicted on flat Earth. Why does the horizon curve left to right when you're at, 46,000 feet? Why does it do that? Or I think it's 73,000 feet on this particular one. Let me double check here. Yes, 73 elevation. Why does the horizon dip as you increase in elevation, flat earthers? It seems that you have no answers for these that are based on anything other than just word salad. So Rhonda has rest her case with by presenting no evidence and says no curve, which of course I showed. I showed the curve. So you don't get to look at curve and then say no curve. That is something that only insane people do. So very strange. All right. Any other flatties around? Oh, let's see if Daniel's going to run away. He does have a habit of running, scampering off when he's challenged. Daniel Falkenbach's got nothing ever. No, nothing at all. And Gene Techman I see is here. Gene is another expert in saying nuh-uh, and not understanding the geometry. So, like helping flat earthers says to Austin Merritt, you better start making a horizontal or equatorial sundial work on flat earth. That's a good point. It doesn't. There's no explanation for a sundial for flat earth. There's yeah. All right, Austin. You could fire up your camera, Austin, and get yourself. Let's see here. There it is. All right, Austin, get your camera going, and you can bring up evidence for flat Earth. You can explain how it is that at 72,000 feet there is a left to right curve of the horizon. What is the geometry, optics, and physics for that? Actual application of it, right? You're gonna need to like show how the math explains it. Word salad isn't it?
Provide the observations, the measurements, and the details of why you concluded what you concluded. And if it could be verified, it could be easily verified by anyone. That is the scientific method.
That is, of course, what they don't do. Their number one tactic is to just blanket ignore all of the existing evidence and then make a bunch of demands about what they think is necessary. And then
That's a poor waste of a mind, I think.
a waste of a what?
A mind.
Well, they don't have that. They don't have one to waste. We got Globy here.
Look at these shills. What's going on, guys?
Globe man, not Globy.
Close enough.
What's up?
Oh, nothing much. I feel like I've been out of the game for a while. I've been working too much. I miss it a little bit.
Stacking the paper.
Oh yeah. You know, maybe one day I'll be as loaded as NT. I don't know how you guys feel about him, so I try to keep that to a minimum.
NT?
Yeah. I couldn't even remember his name for a second. Nathan.
Nathan Thompson.
This one here.
Is that him?
This one here. It says Nathaniel, son of Tom.
Oh, it does. That's
Thanks
fantastic.
thee for playing.
Is that for sale? I want one. I really want
It is
one.
for sale. This was made by Peter Markley. This is actually Nathaniel, son of Tom's face, right here. I've sold 3 of them. One to me, one to Peter, who designed it, and one was purchased by Nathan's. Not kidding. Nathan's mom bought it and gave it to Nathan.
That is wonderful.
That's gold.
Oh, Jack Better says Rhonda's fueled by gin and juice, not science. Oh my god. Rhonda, I think Rhonda was completely smashed last time. And maybe it's a bit too early in the evening for her to have enough in her to have the courage to jump on with the camera going.
Well, she had the courage just to spout hate for that little period.
What's that?
Well, before you had to kick her, she spouted that little bit of hate.
Yeah. I think it's something. I think it's actually the other side from her, and I'm a little uncomfortable with it. And probably her husband's like, nope, putting his foot down. It's okay.
Is that your goal tonight? Are you doing a little bit of fishing over here on TikTok, see how much you can catch?
I am. Well, 2 weeks ago, I had a pretty good catch. Had some by the dip and Rhonda. So, all right. So, how do I flip the left right? I don't want it flipped left right. It's because.
Okay, camera.
Why is that? Why is it like that?
Camera. Then you want to flip.
Like enhance.
No, it looks like a little. When you go to your camera, it'll say camera. Click on the camera, and it has a little. Looks like a screen cut, and you can flip it.
I never knew that before. Is that new?
What do you mean? Where's my camera?
For tune, it's probably going to be in enhance. That
Yeah.
might be right because you're the host.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Effects.
I can't remember which it was. It's been too long since I ran a live on here.
Yeah,
Really?
It's been a minute. Yeah. He's been working. I've been working.
I don't understand why like by default you'd have things flip. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. It's gotten to a point where if I see myself any other way, though, it's weird.
Really?
Yeah. Now, if
Is your-
if I flip my camera, my brain doesn't like it. It's not a fan of the way that it looks.
Because
Wait.
you're looking at it as if. 'cause it's
Somebody's
intrusive.
saying they're getting no audio from the one in the upper right.
They're getting no audio from me.
Wait, I've got two. Hold on. It might be
Testing.
doubling.
1, 2, 3.
All right. I hear it. I hear it coming through.
No, his audio is good. They said. Let's see.
All right. Well,
Scrolls.
no, we can hear him. Somebody says. Anyway. All right. Somebody else on YouTube can hear everybody. So I think it's just Dremwolf is Truby deaf. So
Tribute.
so Flatzoid won top left, people TikTok news travels slowly there apparently.
Well, because I think I seen a video last night of Lovey McGlobeflave still saying, "Hey, get out there and vote. Get out there and vote."
He was, yeah.
So I was like, I better get on it. And I did. I put my vote in. My vote mattered.
I'm proud of our little Fred. I think our Fred, he really, put up a good effort in top left. I mean, what was it? Third place?
Third place for I mean, coming from TikTok, third place on YouTube. That's serious stuff.
That is serious. Fred is he is a top contender. I think next year he might make a run for the title.
If he really buckles down and puts in some effort, he might.
He just might.
So, yeah. Now the funny thing, Nico participated, like actually helped DP Debunks make the video. That was cool. But then Nico mirrored it on his own channel, and so we're like, oh well, that's pretty cool, Nico. We will count all of your views in the metrics. But we didn't tell him what we were going to do with the count. We actually subtracted views. So all 600 some views that he got on that video subtracted from his score actually pushed him from 4th place to 5th place.
That's unfortunate.
So yeah, pretty funny. So
I don't know. I just didn't believe it, honestly, when I was told about Fred. I'm sorry if I'm just a TikTok shill over here, I guess, but I can't believe that someone who more than likely nobody on YouTube has heard of actually did that well. Fred is something else.
yeah. So science and natural law seems to be a flatty.
Said science and natural law is Mr. Still Doing It. I'm pretty sure then, yeah. If that's accurate, then yes.
All right. Let's see. Heads. No, the fact is that he's seen Fred wreck globe heads. No, the fact is that he's never debated anybody. What are you holding up here?
This is the upper stage of the Saturn.
That he
Diagram from.
We're doing show and tell.
I don't know. Are we?
I got stuff. I mean, I'm sure I can find some other cool stuff too.
All my stuff is up here.
This is a Saturn Apollo flight configuration. The entire rocket.
Oh wow, that's a bit more. I'm sure that's what my Lego one has.
My sister offered to give me hers because it takes up too much space in her new house. And
Who offered?
My sister did. She wants to give me the Saturn V Lego set.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a yes.
you can find the instructions. It's like if you just put the pieces in a box, I'll figure it out. It's fine.
All right. Well, we got it. The flatty didn't take it here. The science. What was not science and natural law? What a strange name for a flatty. They typically don't understand either.
Off a flat plane? What? We measure latitude taking an elevation angle to Polaris. What is he talking about?
Oh, because flatties make this. They just blindly believe this claim about geometry without actually understanding the geometry. They say they like to claim that elevation angles they say can only be on a flat plane, which doesn't make any sense at all because of course you can measure an angle to any curved surface from
Well, yeah,
any curved surface.
well, if you take 2 points with 2 levels and you match them up at the same altitude, and you see that one deviates from the other, they don't line up, therefore it's curved.
Yeah, yeah. And I can draw their misunderstanding here. Actually, I probably have already drawn it in my many pages here in this book. In fact, I'm certain that I have. Whether I can find it in a reasonable amount of time is another question. Got so much artwork in here. There it is.
It doesn't make sense to me to even say that. You have to minus out the what is it, the refraction and the dip angle, don't you? What the hell is
To
the
be
dip
more
angle?
yeah, to get more precision, you do. It's not
So-
a necessity, but it helps to get more precise. Okay, here's my here you go. So you see right here, we've got this point right here. So we've got somebody, let's say that the Earth is shaped like this, right? There's a mountain, right? You've got topography, and then somewhere off in the distance is another. You can from this point, you can establish a straight line from this point to this point, and it doesn't matter what shape is underneath here. This can be any shape. They can be disconnected. They can be connected. None of it matters. And then same thing, you can measure an angle to this here, right? And so this angle, this straight line and this straight line makes an angle. Just one angle. It's not a triangle. And you'll note that this here and this here doesn't care about any of the shape of what's underneath it or above it or around it or nearby it or adjacent to it. So this is what they're claiming. They're claiming this is impossible, but I have a diagram of it right here showing that, of course, it's very possible. So not very smart for them.
Well, I guess it's part of their trademark slogan, where they say celestial navigation requires triangulation. But
yes, it's actually just one angle, so it's unangulation.
Yeah, well, if you connect the lines at the end, it'll make a triangle. So they got you there.
Yeah. So then what they do is they take a diagram that was a simplification out of a celestial navigation book. That's just kind of giving like an elementary school level understanding of it, and that's it. So, science and natural law says, where's the curved baseline? There is no curved baseline. That's the incredibly cool thing about it. You don't need the baseline, right? The what they're talking about, of course, is they're suggesting that in order to do this, surface has to be identical or parallel to this, but it does not. This line and this line are not the same. So, and I can show you on a globe, it happens to be right there. Look at that. So we've got the observer there, and we've got this line from the observer to the spot on the surface of the Earth. Now you'll note that this is curved right here, right? This is curved. This line is straight. And that's completely possible. There's no problem with that at all. And we've got off here in the distance somewhere, way off screen, a star. And so you can measure this angle right here between that star and the horizon. And you'll notice that doing that is completely possible on the surface of a curving shape here, right? The fact that this yellow line is straight does not change the fact that this line here is a curve. So there you go, flatties. Eye level parallel with surface level, but it's not actually. In fact, it is not, because there is a dip right here, this angle right here. This exists. I have personally measured it while on an airplane myself.
Dip angles exist.
Yeah, there is a dip. It does exist. So now here's the challenge. Here's the challenge for you, flatties. What is this dip for flat Earth? Say I'm on an airplane at 40,000 feet, and let's say I'm at 30 degrees south latitude, right? 30 degrees south latitude. What should this dip be between horizontal, right, eye level, and the horizon? What is that dip, flatties? And if you don't have any understanding of it, then that's because you're not smart enough, or as I like to say, you're not going to ride the ride.
The shields are all here.
All right.
They're still chirping at you in the comments. They
are.
I will be completely quiet. I will let you have a chat with Toon. I will leave if he wants that. Even
if any flatties come in, we'll clear the panel. We'll just be one-on-one. Who's B Lighty?
That's a good question. I am not sure. Oh, I do know this. It's Liddy.
Yo, what's up, Ty?
Liddy.
Oh no, I was coming up. At first, I was coming up to help you with the camera thing, but yeah, science and natural law. He's a Toon. He is. He's
it seems
yeah.
like he both lacks understanding of geometry and lacks the courage to face me right now.
Correct. Yeah, he probably won't come up. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, no, I'm not a flatty. Sorry. But I mean, I could drop it.
Let me see here. We got. Let me read a couple things off of YouTube. We got Mr. E-Man gifted 5 memberships. Super. Thank you. Jack Fetter. Jack Fetter is all up in here. He says, "Oh geez, Rhonda, it's all coming." Then Jack Fetter says, "Let Rhonda in. Text-based crazy doesn't translate." So now Rhonda knew I was going to insist on having cameras, and still chose to be too scared. I get it. It's okay. Jack Fetter likes the cat. Oh, a telescope. Look at that. Tell us about that telescope.
This is my 8-inch Dobsonian.
All right. For the flatties, explain what a Dobsonian is.
It has objective at the top instead of the back.
What's an objective?
An objective is an eyepiece that lets you look into the telescope to look out it, and so a Newtonian is shaped like this.
And what's at the back?
A mirror. So
a mirror does the magnification primarily.
Yes. And then it's reflected off of this. The second subjective mirror through the eye.
No NASA chip.
And then the eyepiece has some refracting lenses, correct?
Yes, this here.
Martin H says that's not a Dobsonian.
No, I didn't mean to say Dobsonian. I meant to say
Newtonian.
Newtonian. And this is hyper universal lens so it has multiple zooms. It's a Hyperion. It's a Hyperion lens. It's a really good lens.
So you know what the problem is with that type of telescope? There's a
what's the problem?
You cannot see space vampires.
Oh.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
So yeah, so definitely still need refracting telescopes. to be safe from space vampires.
Space vampire.
We could be in danger. I hadn't considered this at all.
I know. So, like, seriously, the James Webb, completely useless for identifying space vampires.
Man, I wish that was.
Most I've heard of space vampires. I'm interested. Teach me.
Or yet to go.
I don't know. That's a bit too fancy.
Oh, it's too advanced. Too advanced knowledge for that.
What's their line? Do your own research.
Like,
Yeah.
really research.
Come on.
I'm addicted to these. Don't ever buy these because you'll become addicted to them.
What are they?
Pillars.
Peelers.
They're
Okay.
the gummy candies that you can pill.
You look excited about them.
They've been all
Oh my
over
gosh.
TikTok. It's like these are bananas, and then you can pill them. They're like gummy candies, and they're really delicious, and they're addictive.
So science versus pseudoscience
Look,
is arguing with industrial nerd. Oh my gosh, you can peel them. So
Oh, I get it. That's pretty cool.
little banana.
So science versus pseudoscience is completely getting trashed by industrial nerd in the chat here, who is, by the way, not a flatty. Science versus pseudoscience. You have completely fallen for the troll.
Yeah, if you really want to get the views rolling in, I could be Caleb with the C.
Oh my
There's
God.
another Caleb?
There is a Caleb with a C, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Here, hold on, I'll get him real quick. No, I'm kidding.
No, there actually is. I think there actually he's not as prominent, but there definitely is. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Caleb with an L has been AWOL since the last time that I saw him. Well, he hit twice since I got back from Antarctica. He came on my show the day after we landed when we were still in Punta Arenas. And then I saw him do something while he was on the side of the road somewhere. And that was it. I mean, maybe he's done other stuff I haven't been following, but I sent him a message on Instagram. Nothing.
I don't know, that's surprising. I expected him to be the most vocal. He came to your guys' defense, weirdly enough. I think he was just going off of what David Weiss said, but just for the whole green screen thing, Caleb was actually trying to call the dogs off. He's like, hey, you guys just don't understand because you guys don't deal with live streams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that surprised me. He still called everything else fake, but like surprisingly he went with that. He was more than okay to actually talk some sense into people.
It looks like industrial still getting other people.
Industrial nerd is such a good troll. He just messes with people.
He's even getting Josh.
Oh my
I guess
god.
Josh is playing around. Josh.
All right, we got Jack Fetter. As I was talking about the science there, says that's way too much science for TikTok. Of course, Monkey Cat Pat Pat says
Billy Strings.
who's Billy String? Which one of you are Billy Strings?
I don't know Billy Strings.
I don't know.
Jack Fetter says 8-inch Dabsodian. That's what she said.
No, I mixed it up because I had a 10-inch stop sodium at one point.
Oh yeah, a
that-
10-inch. It was
It's not a-
6.
It weighed 90 pounds and it sat on a single mount. I have another one that's a 6-inch.
You have multiple?
Does it go to a different school?
It goes to a different school.
Yeah, my
That's-
favorite thing, Toon, I got to tell you this. My favorite thing about that guy, Natural Science and Natural Law, he says biology and cooking and chemistry, it's all not science. That's one of my favorite
What?
things. Yeah,
Biology, cooking, and chemistry is not science.
correct. We had a discussion today. He tried to prove to us that science is only anything that can be proven from the scientific method. So we went through the scientific method with him on on cooking, and he still didn't get it.
Well, did he use the bastardized dogmatic version of the scientific method that the Flighties love so much?
I don't know which I've never heard of that.
So that's where they're super hyper rigid about it. Like if you don't do step one, then it's thrown out, and if you don't do it the right way, it's thrown out.
That is exactly what he did. That's so funny you said that. Yeah.
So that's just because they only know science that because flat earthers have told them science, and they're wrong. So what they did is Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser went to a website called Science Buddies, which is a website that teaches middle schoolers how to do a science fair project. So these kids who've never done a science fair project before, and they don't really know the background of, the philosophy of science, they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, well, here's what you do in your science fair project. You do number 1, number 2, number 3, right? And these flat earthers who also have never done science, and so this was complete news to them. Like, oh wow, look, there's a step-by-step way to do it. And they took it as absolute unwavering dogma that you must step-by-step apply, as if that's how scientists actually review other scientists' work. It's not. They're like, well, what's step 1? Identify the natural observable phenomenon. But
actually, that's not even step 1.
They think. Well, and there's a couple of flavors of it too. So they have this rigid dogma, but they can't even agree on which one's the right version of it. Anyway, so they think that scientists, when they're reviewing other scientific publications, because down at the bottom is publish your results. So when they're looking at somebody's published results, they're like, check. What is number 1? They're like, what is it? And if you don't have it, like, well, then they go. That's what they think. They think that, well, you didn't clearly state item 1 of the scientific method, therefore it gets kicked out. That's not actually how it's done. There is never in the history of science, nowhere in the annals of science, will you find somebody that kicked out a scientific publication because there you go, I got a cat, because they didn't do step 1 or step 2 or step 3 like that.
He's asking you, what's the other way?
What's the other way? All right, well, I'll go over it. Okay, this is Raccoon, by the way.
Hey, Raccoon.
He's a super friendly, super docile kitty. There you go. Let's go. All right, there you go. Okay, thank you. Good night. Okay, so how? That's a great question. I recommend, if you really want to know, reading this book here, The Logic of Science, or the Logic of Scientific Discovery by Karl Popper. If you really want to get into what is the essence of science, chapters 3 and 4. But to boil it down, he goes through the pretty good description of how you get this, and boils it all down to essentially you need to test a falsifiable hypothesis. That's it. If you can, then it is science, and it is distinct from not science. Now, that's a very right. It's a big book, right? And so it's very much simplified.
I was going to say, I think the reason that they treat it that way is because their last interaction with formal science was right before they dropped out in 8th grade, where if you didn't follow the scientific step by step, it was a pass or fail, and the only way to pass was to do it that way. So maybe that's why they're okay with doing it like that.
But it's like it lays out the tools that you need to understand what you're looking at and measuring. It's like me going up and picking up some technical device and not reading the manual and going, I know how to run this. I won't lose fingers.
I mean, have you spoken to a flat earther?
Are they missing fingers?
I wouldn't be surprised.
They got a new.
Somebody from work is sending me a message. Keep talking.
I was just thinking, like, could you trust them with a CNC machine?
Oh no.
Yeah. Let him play with it. See what happens.
He's asking for a citation from physicists and universities. You know what, Mr. Still Doing It? I've given you a citation from physicists.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure Glober has given you a citation from physicists. I'm pretty sure that other physicists.
Read again. Read again what he wants.
He wants a citation from a physicist or university.
Got it.
Right here.
Got it.
Well, I'm in
Now,
the chat.
he doesn't actually want that. This is again sea lining.
Strap down
Right.
those goalposts. Get them ready.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If I give you something from science, from a university, you know, a goalpost move is what you should not be doing. Okay. So, all right. I'm looking for the entry to this. Just as I keep talking amongst yourselves there, I'm going to pull it up here.
What other science?
Here's some filler conversation. This is rigorous scientific talk here. I hope everyone's getting educated. This is, I don't know what else to say. Someone else can say that.
Well, we got Duelist Black also saying every Glober's claim we didn't even play, but I won.
What?
What?
Oh. Is Lady Jessica active? Someone get her up here too.
You don't want Lady.
Okay. All right.
Lady Jessica.
All right. So here is all right. How do I change it so that my screen is big?
So there should be. You guys know how to do it?
No, if you know how to do it, tell them. I'm not.
So
gonna
if you click on your screen, well, if you click on at least, I guess your screen, there should be a little box that's like broken up into corners. It'll be the expand button. That's going to expand you. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Oh, all right. There we go. All right, now I can flip it around. So he wanted. Say it again. What he wanted?
He wanted a citation from a physicist or university.
Okay. Berkeley. Berkeley.edu. That is a university. Understanding Science 101. Look at that. Here we go. Scientific method, 1 serving, and then a formula here. And what is it? What does it say over the top of that? Can anybody else read that? Because the flatty might not be able to read it. Too simple.
Until thoroughly.
Too simple.
Too
So
simple.
This rigid step-by-step process is a good way to introduce a middle schooler to what to do, because they don't know what to do first, they don't know what to do second. But that's too simple. That's not really how it's done. How it's really done is the real process of science is iterative. You have testing ideas, you have exploration and discovery, you have community analysis and feedback, you have benefits and outcomes, right? So all of these things here this is a lot more complicated, right? Yeah. This is the actual process that science goes through, right? And it's kind of dynamic, and it depends on what you're doing, and it's not this dogmatic application of a step-by-step process. Nobody in the history of science has gone to a checklist like this and said, "Oh, well, let's see if you did science." No, it's a thinking process. So there you go, a citation from a university. You can find it if you just Google Berkeley Understanding Science. Great site. It's written to about a high school graduate level, maybe a little under. So will be really difficult for any flat earther to read. So,
Are you ready for the response? He said,
yes.
He said, it doesn't matter. Just a citation that says scientific method is only for 5th grade.
I don't know. What? He
That
not
was
English.
a goalpost move. That just that doesn't mean anything.
That was some smooth brain stuff. Like
The goalpost move is absolute requirement. You know, it's or we call it sea lining, of course. Jack Fetter says nerd panel is killing my buzz. Bring back Rhonda. Rhonda, get that camera working, and all these guys get booted. All you need, Rhonda.
And all information just slides right off.
Rhonda said it's not complicated. Your curvature math doesn't match observable. Well, I showed it to you, and it did match. So just saying it doesn't match doesn't stop it from matching, Rhonda. Poor girl. Poor Rhonda.
I don't know. It doesn't match observable. How are you gonna?
It doesn't match observable.
How are you gonna make up for that?
I don't know. I mean, such a well thought out response, so much detail and math and
Rhonda.
Soon we'll be hearing about Snell's Law all over again.
Ooh, who has misunderstandings of Snell's Law? Oh, all flatties. All flatties, right?
It's fun to talk about. You have to give them that. I love the debate that Globy Blitz and I had with Caleb, Derek, and Witsit, and they all, every single one of them, were positive, absolutely positive they were correct, even though in their opening statements they said the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I was baffled by that because it's been well known for a couple centuries. The math has been done, the analysis of it, the calculus of it, of applying Snell's law to a gradient, has all been done. Down. They just didn't get this. Downward bending light causes things to be higher.
Yeah, but they I don't see how it helps them. It makes their case worse. But it's like it's literally proving my case.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Derek saying the sun rises in the west.
What?
That's true.
That was in the same debate. It's because of like a little part of the land that comes off, and the sea is there. And he was saying, no, they're looking west. They're on the east coast, looking west at the sunrise, or yeah, something along those lines. And it was just the funniest thing because he didn't understand that the land was just going between. I don't know what the name for it is. Someone smarter than me could probably name it off. Didn't under. Oh my god!
All right, here we go, flatties. You're gonna love this. Wow. So here is little drawing I made for you. Let me get this right here. Okay, you see, we've got this hotel. We got a little Batman there, and this is let's say there's no refraction happening. Like there's zero air. So here we go. It goes straight. The light just goes straight. It doesn't bend at all on the way in. But in reality, of course, the light bends down. So here we see the light starting here on the upper corner of the building, goes and bends down. You see that? And where does it go? Well, it doesn't get to Batman's eye. The light that otherwise would have gotten to his eye now hits the ground in front of him. But don't worry, there is still light that gets to him. The light that started out at a higher angle, this top one here, also bends down and eventually does get to Batman's eye. But our eyes don't know that the light was curved on the way in. All that we know is the angle that the light comes into our eyeball. And look at that. The angle that it comes into our eyeball is at a higher angle. So it causes the building to appear slightly higher. Isn't that so cool?
Maybe you didn't know it before, but now you should.
Elementary refraction.
Did he just say what?
Oh, Gene is here?
Gene is here.
Yeah, Gene is here.
You should absolutely have a chat with Gene. He is
one of the most intelligent people I've ever met.
I love how you guys are lying right now. That's hilarious. I think I talked to Gene before he was even on TikTok, or at least active.
Oh man,
Gene and I go way back.
I still think it's funny that you were fully aware of gas pressure, and you actually told me about when he was Spurs chemo, and I was able to find a lot of his fun old content, and man, it's the same thing. He hasn't changed his script.
He's
gotten worse. He's gotten worse. So if anything, he's got videos now that he says proves that there's no way rockets can work in space, simply because there's no medium for the air to push off of.
No, he's proved that in a physical demonstration once on a live. He literally proved that rockets can't work in a vacuum because he took a balloon, filled it up with air, and then held it next to a vacuum cleaner. And when he let his hand go, the vacuum cleaner was supposed to suck all the air out before the balloon could propel forwards, proving that the vacuum of space would suck all the air out before it could propel anything. But he fucked it up, and he had to hold the balloon with his hand and kind of shield it from the camera so we couldn't see it while he held the balloon in place. It was so great, and nobody recorded it, unfortunately.
He came over to the camera and said,
Mr. E-Man is wondering, do you guys know about anions and cations?
I am.
We all know about anions.
I love cations and onions.
Well, the older guys
is
do.
He still around? Trey Hutchinson?
Anions. Okay.
He doesn't live under the power lines anymore. I haven't seen him since then. I think we might have proved something. Okay, maybe power lines were, doing a little detriment to him.
He moved out of his mom's house, you mean?
Wherever he was, I don't know. He was an engineer working at where was it, McDonald's or something?
No, he said he was a mechanical engineer. He worked at a place that made things for boats, for speedboats. I don't know what you call it, that goes over the top, that you hook this tow rope to, right? Whatever that is. And he claimed that he was a mechanical engineer. So I asked him, what math book did you use in your mechanical engineering coursework? And I showed him my math book, and he got very defensive all of a sudden and didn't want to talk about it.
Well,
you think he was lying about that? Of being an engineer?
I think he was lying about that.
No.
Murph lying? Come on.
Last I saw, he was, and this was still a while ago, because he hasn't been around for a minute, but he was delivering pizzas, but yelling at me about how he's an engineer and how I don't know any better.
He got so angry. He didn't want nothing to do with the book. The moment he brought out the book, he was just like, well, let's not make this about math. He was like, what?
He would have been excited to share that information, right?
He certainly would have known what a cation is.
Main cat ion.
When I corrected him, he still didn't know.
Main cation.
Someone said TikTok flirts are like a travel back in time to 2015. Yeah, I've noticed the flat earthers here they don't evolve. The YouTube ones, they seem like they're on top of it. They're in their Discord echo chambers nonstop.
Well, I think the Discord ones are they're treading new ground. And by new ground, I mean making up the most incredible lies. The YouTube ones is like, level 2 of the nonsense, but TikTok and Facebook are both different versions of the 2015 time warp.
It's interesting because I didn't get into flat Earth until late in the game, but I was still able to catch all the old content because that's how it got introduced to me.
Can you guys? Sorry.
Go ahead, Globy.
I was just gonna see if you guys could hear this.
Is that clockwise? Jorge, that is not the way you were going. Is that clockwise? That is not the way you were going.
Down. Yeah, it looked. Yeah, it was. It looked like this.
Watch him lie completely.
Looked like
about
this.
It's not the way. That's counterclockwise, dude.
This is counterclockwise.
He had to lie. He just had to lie.
We're going clockwise.
And then he tries to do it in a mirror.
No.
Wait, what are you talking about? What was going on?
This is the star rotations, clockwise, counterclockwise.
Looking down at it.
He did this for
Of
months.
course it matters. You're mirroring the image. You're mirroring the bobbin, you donut.
He just kept trying to lie about which direction they were going. He was good.
How come?
Look, he's doing it in a mirror.
Yeah. Okay. Does it matter if they're mirrored? Not at all.
Does mirroring flip an image?
Love Trey.
The answer is yes. Mirroring flips an image, so of course it fucking matters if it's mirrored.
Well, what if the image is flipped back anyway? Because my front screen is mirrored.
Bro, shut up. Show it on your back camera the way it's supposed to be shown.
What if-
and stop being disingenuous.
Oh, he's
What if-
think you're so smart.
Just lying.
You can't outsmart me, dude.
Lie. Oh, I should. I shouldn't play that audio probably on the live. And then he just did this.
I love his pajama bottoms.
And his pajama bottoms. The SpongeBob. It's the SpongeBob. Oh, those are minions.
His mom has got to be so proud of him.
The pit sweat. The sweaty pits.
Oh, that is pure class. That's
Oh my
what we're
God.
seeing there is class.
Absolutely. One of my favorites.
Loby, did you ever get a recording of the one where he was spinning on the camera, and then as he brought the camera up, he started
Oh, I
spinning
didn't.
the other direction, and he was
I
like,
didn't.
"Look, I was spinning the same direction the whole time, but it looks different."
Yeah, as he went up, he started spinning the other way and just said he was going the same way. He has to be trolling.
Well, this is interesting. Rob Hoyle says on the BBC News they think they found life on another planet. Spectroscopy scans found gas that is only produced by organic life.
That's true.
Was there a container?
I always take those claims with a grain of salt because we're only looking at spectral lines. We're not looking at absolute, like, concrete proof that it's derived from life. There is the possibility that organic materials can decay on other planets without life forms.
Wait a minute,
Fun.
Forrest?
Could be.
Fun
Could
ruiner.
be. But was there a container? You didn't answer the important question. Is it, and also, is it the type of gases that are expelled by potatoes?
The dome and container thing is one of my favorite things because I always like to bring up the fact that if there's a dome, wouldn't this like all the evaporated water just like condense on the dome and just like trickle down and always rain like all the time? Like,
well, it would have to go down around and follow the curved edge, right?
Right, and then
so when you got to Antarctica, there'd have to be just this constant flow of water coming down.
Exactly. The ice wall would like come to the top of the dome at some point.
It just keeps frosting up like the windows in the winter.
Yeah.
You guys pretending to know what God's plan is hilarious. We don't know what it is.
Let's see. Eric Burns is an astronomer. He says K2-18b if you want to look it up.
Yeah, that's the planet.
All right. Let me just say that is not nearly as interesting as what Star Trek calls them. Right? They're like Rigel 2. But can we just have it be that? Why does it have to be just letters and numbers? That's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Well, there's Venus Majoris, and then there's, like, we could still call them names. We don't have to go off of the scientific notation of the star or planet.
Robert says 2 times the size of Earth. So the diameter is 2 times the size of Earth's diameter. It's actually, I think it's 8.6 times the mass of our Earth.
How do they know that? Have they touched it?
That's what they say.
They use a ruler.
We haven't
Did
left
they
our solar
did they
system.
go there?
Did they go there?
They put it on a scale. How'd they weigh it?
Put it on a scale.
There's mass equations, and you could take this, like the volume of the sphere, and calculate the mass due to other objects that it's interacting with, especially a toast star.
Hey, Dean.
Get fucking stuffed.
Fred,
Had enough of that.
Oh my god, Fred! He came in third place. I mean, what a good showing for a TikTok entry.
Whoa.
It was. I was proud of him.
Oh, Globy, does Toon know about Josh and Chris's debate the other day?
I don't know if he's aware of it. I don't know if he saw it.
That was a mess.
That was a shit show. As expected, they did a moon debate the other day on my page.
A moon landing debate.
Moon landing debate, yeah. With a turned into a classic. Chris T. Flatsmack. I think you spoke to him.
Oh yeah.
Few times. You'd probably know him if you heard him, but devolved into the classic just rage quit. You know, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
4 hours. 4 hours.
It drove me mad.
4 hours.
Talking about
I
something.
had to leave and jump back in because I was just like, man, I can't say nothing. I don't know how to get into live with, Globy McLoface. I wanted to say something so bad.
Oh, it was horrible.
You think you wanted to say something? I was trying to moderate, so I was trying to be neutral.
So here's the Esme Thing says, guessing they work out the size of the star and then use planetary orbits to work out the planet size. The problem is that you can figure out the mass if you know the orbital period and the radius of the orbit. You can figure out the mass of the thing in the middle. So based on Earth's orbital period of a year and the radius of 150 million kilometers, you can get the mass of the sun. But that doesn't tell us the mass of the Earth. To get the mass of the Earth, we need to have the orbital period of the moon and the diameter or radius of the orbit of the moon. Well, if you have a planet and you're looking at a planet on another star, right? You're not
So that baryonic center is not just due to that one planetoid that we're able to observe. If it matches the period, then we could pretty much calculate the mass pretty accurately.
My dog messed up the audio by sitting on my foot pedal. So to YouTube, it was muted for a second. All right. Silly dog.
Talking crazy math, and I'm just sitting here wanting Gene or still doing it to come up here. I want it's like a car crash, a head-on car crash, and like you just can't look away. Want to
Still doing it is like a almost a
wait. Still doing it?
Yeah, that's what we call him. The guy, science and natural law guy that's here in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's coming.
Oh yeah, if you want, you can drop us down.
All right. There we go. See you guys. This is going to be great.
Bye.
What's going on?
All right, get your camera going. We want to see you.
I'm a little under. Well, not right now. Right now I'm running around. I'm doing things. I'm not driving, but like I'm doing things. I put on the camera for you to see my handsome face in a little bit.
Okay. In a little bit. All right. But they call you still doing it.
Why you see that face?
What? I didn't understand. What'd you say?
I was saying you don't need to see my face.
Well, I mean, the audience does. They want to see it. The 500 people on YouTube are like, "Who's this guy?" Right? All right. So, why is your channel, or why do you call yourself Science and Natural Law?
Because that's what you guys lack understanding of. Globers have a lack of understanding what science is and what natural law is.
You think that we have a lack of understanding of science? Interesting. Okay. Well, go ahead then.
Well, actually, I know. I'll say more like I know.
We'll go ahead then. What is your citation for what is science? But where do you go?
Same place you go. I mean, you just any university, any visit to you find the definition of a science. Do you have a problem with the definition of what science is?
I showed that earlier. Remember, you were in the chat, right? The real process of science is the opposite of the cookbook that we talked about earlier. It's not a cookbook. It's a complex process that requires logical thinking and critical analysis of different topics and analyzing things. But in the end, the super important part is that you're testing a falsifiable hypothesis, right? And that comes from Karl Popper. Here's the book, Karl Popper, The Logic of Scientific Discovery. So that particular part of it. Now he gets very, very rigid in this, and in the end it gets a little circular when you apply it too rigidly. So people don't go to the extreme that he did. But anyway, so testing a falsifiable hypothesis is the essence. And so, for example, when we went to Antarctica, the hypothesis, which is falsifiable, will not circle 24 hours a day. It will set, or at least it'll be to the north, and it won't be ever to the south. So that's the hypothesis of flat Earth. We went there, we tested it, we saw that the sun does in fact go due south. It circles all the way around 24 hours a day. The hypothesis for the globe is that the sun will go circle around 24 hours a day. And since we were at about 80 degrees south latitude, it will change in elevation. This is the globe hypothesis. It's falsifiable. We can test it. And this very specifically, the globe hypothesis was that at its lowest, it would be 13 degrees in elevation. At its highest, it would be 34 degrees in elevation. And that's exactly what we measured, confirming the hypothesis.
Joking right now, right?
Well, what's wrong with that?
Hold on. Okay, sorry. So you hypothesizing that your hypothesis was for the globe, you will see a 24-hour sun. That's what you just said just now?
Yes. You think that's wrong?
What does that have to do? What does that have to with a hypothesis? You want to know. You have a scientific prediction that has to do with the cause of the effect.
No.
Oh, that's not what a hypothesis is.
Yeah, the cause part of it isn't part of it. Isn't there's no dogma being about the cause. Let me give an example of a well appreciated scientific hypothesis. So many years ago, people did not know the shape of the benzene molecule. They knew that it was 6 carbons. They knew that because they were able to get the mass. And based on some chemical interactions, they had determined that a benzene molecule is 6 carbons. They did not know the geometry of it. So a guy, his name escapes me at the moment, he was thinking about it. He fell asleep in his house, and in the afternoon, he had a dream of a snake eating its tail. And then he woke up and he's like, what if it's 6 carbons in a circle, like a snake eating its tail? And so that was his hypothesis. Then when he got back to the lab, they did, they tested to see if that was the case, and they determined, yep, that is the case. Now, what was the causal relationship? There was no causal relationship at all, but it was a testable hypothesis. So that is a early, maybe 150 years ago, tested hypothesis that was confirmed. So there you go.
I think you're being funny right now, but
why? What's wrong with that?
Because I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that you think going to see whether there is a phenomenon or not is a hypothesis. However, I missed the
part where that's not a hypothesis. How's that not a hypothesis?
Going to see a phenomenon, whether a phenomenon exists, is not a hypothesis. But however, here, I'll give you a few citations. Can I give you a few citations?
Sure.
I'll give you. Let me look. Okay. From Wikipedia, is that okay with you or no?
All right, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
A hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomenon. For a hypothesis to be a scientific hypothesis, the scientific method requires that one can test it.
Yep, nailed it. That's what we did. That's what we did. Yeah, I've got it. I'll read from the Wikipedia article. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomenon. A scientific hypothesis must be based on observations and make it testable and reproducible predictions about reality in a process beginning with an educated guess or thought. That's exactly what we did. A great citation. Thank you very much. First law confirmed.
Let me reread it for you. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomenon.
Yeah? What's wrong with
that? What's the explanation for the phenomenon that would make your hypothesis?
That the Earth rotates once a day, and that it is tilted in relation to the ecliptic plane. Nailed it. Thank you very much. I'm glad you agree that it is a scientific hypothesis.
No, it's not. Yo, you don't even know what a scientific hypothesis is. That's the problem.
We just read it. A proposed explanation for a phenomenon. That's what we just did. I proposed that the explanation for the hold on, let me explain it. I proposed that the explanation for the 24-hour sun is that the Earth is a globe, and that it rotates once a day, and that it's the axis of rotation is angled in relation to the plane of the orbit of the Earth around the sun. That's the proposed explanation.
You're making a fool of yourself. You just said the hypothesis was you said on the globe there is a 24-hour sun. So we're going to see if that is the case. We're going to see if when we go to the area we claim there's a 24-hour sun, because on the globe we claim on the globe there will be a 24-hour sun, and we went there to see whether or not there was a 24-hour sun. That is correct. That was your claim of a hypothesis. Going to see whether or not there was a phenomenon, not proposing the cause of the phenomenon.
I love when flatties imagine that they understand science. It's hilarious. I love it. Thank you so much.
What is it about what I'm saying you're not understanding? You say you were going to see whether or not there was a phenomenon.
Yeah, we had the hypothesis, right?
Oh my God!
And obviously, I can expand it a little more than I did in my rather terse explanation. But yeah, the proposed explanation for the 24-hour sun is ready that the Earth is orbiting the sun, that it is tilted on its axis in relation to the orbit of the sun. Right? This is great. This is absolutely fantastic. It goes right along with
you're making a fool of yourself.
All right. Well, how about this? How about this? How about this? What do they call it? Still going? Is that what they call? Or what is your name? Like, what should I call you?
Science and natural law. You don't want to natural law. Science.
I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to call you any of them because
that's my name. That's the name that I'm reading. The name that's up there for you.
All right. I'll call you Goofball. So Goofball. Will you give me then an example of something that you think uses the one and true, only allowed dogmatic version of science? You know, some amazing discovery that science has accomplished using that method. Got one?
What method?
The method that you think is the only allowed version of science.
What method would that be? Can you tell me what method I said that would be?
It's you. It's on you, not me. I'm not the one that is holding the key.
Okay,
you're the one that thinks you hold the key.
Hold on. You're making a claim that I have a method. So if I had a method,
you are saying that you understand the method. You want me to call you science because you think you understand science and nobody else does, apparently, right? So what is something as an example? So just give an example of something that uses this version of science that you think is the only allowed version of science. Some great scientific discovery using that particular flavor of science that you think is the only allowed one. Got anything?
Any theory?
What amazing discovery?
Any theory that's been formed is through the scientific method.
Well,
there's only one.
Let's hear a good one. Let's hear one of the really good ones.
Others.
Let's hear a good one.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
You can't think of even one thing that has gone through your scientific method.
I don't have a scientific method. Hold on. I don't personally have a scientific method. This is the method. This is the same method it's just applied by all physicists. Any scientists that have a form of theory apply that method.
Oh, well,
if not, it wasn't a theory.
Like me.
Apply that method.
I apply the method that I have learned by reading Karl Popper, by reading Berkeley's description of how to do science, by
talking about my method. You're talking about my method.
Hold on. I'm explaining how I got it, a scientist, how I got my understanding of how to do science. Stanford has an encyclopedia of natural philosophy that they use. Kuhn has a great book that I read, and quite a few other things, like all from some philosophers of science, from universities, from real scientists, all talking. So that's how I got my understanding of how to do science. But you seem to have a whole different version of it that none of them use.
What version would that be? Since you say I have a version that they don't use, can you tell me what version
yours? The one you use.
What is that?
Yeah.
Name it.
I don't know. You're the one that rejected the actual science that I did as not science.
So I never gave you a method, because if I gave you a method, you would have replied the method that I gave you.
Oh no, you didn't. Yeah, of course you didn't give a method because here's what we all know this. So we all know this, goofball. Whatever it is that somebody does, if it contradicts your pre-selected conclusion, you have to find a way to reject it. Right? You won't accept anything that you have to find a way to reject it. We know that. Right. So whatever it is that you say is the process, which you obviously are not going to want to commit to. If somebody does come along and say, well, here, look at that. We used your exact step-by-step method and it confirmed the globe, you're going to say, nope. Right.
What a scientific
testing of a falsifiable hypothesis.
Okay. Testing your
a
hypothesis, right?
falsifiable hypothesis.
So your hypothesis, and okay, and how do you do that?
Do that? You identify something that you can test. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you? And how do you test it? How is it
Depends on
tested?
whatever it is that is your hypothesis, and whatever it is, right? You can't just. There's no formula. As Berkeley stated, there is no rigid formula for it. Here, let me bring it up again here so you can see. Too simple. See that? See that? The scientific method, one serving, blah blah blah, step. Too simple. Again, this is Berkeley.
Okay, look. Okay, can you give us the new one and how the new one goes?
The way you do it is this.
What?
It's an iterative process.
Okay.
It's not a cookbook.
Okay, how would you go about it?
So, all right, I'll
new
bring
one
so you can come back later. This is on Berkeley. So what you want to do is you want to search for Berkeley Understanding Science. You'll get to this page. So just for reference, this citation for people at home, because there's 500 people watching and on YouTube, and if they want to look up how to do it, then this is how they can find this thing here. So testing ideas. So we've got gathering data, hypotheses, expected results and observations, actual results and observations. So this is what we did while we were in preparing for Antarctica. We put together some hypotheses, and we have our expected results and observations. And I did this on my website, mc2.net/TFE. I have a link to it. I had 16 different experiments that I listed out, and I put the expected results and the things that we expected to observe when we did each of these for both the globe hypothesis and the flat Earth hypothesis. So we had 16 different ones. And then we went and we did the test, we got the actual observations, and then we compared them to the expected observations. And so that's part of the interpreting data here, which we've got supportive, contradictory, surprising, or inconclusive data, right? Well, we had supportive data for globe. Everything matched the globe. Everything was supportive of the globe, and everything was contradictory for flat Earth, right? So we've got little couple things: support a hypothesis, oppose a hypothesis, inspire new or a revised hypothesis, right? It's iterative. So if you test something and it didn't work how you think it might, well then, okay, that gives us some information. We can go back around, we can iterate again, right? So there's your testing ideas. So we've got exploration and discovery. We've got making observations, asking questions, sharing data and ideas, which is what I've done all along. It's on my website. Finding inspiration. Flat Earthers inspired me. Exploring the literature. I read a lot of literature to understand and to put together things. I had to do a little bit of application of some geometry and some math that I needed to look up, make sure I got it correct, right? And then I reported.
How would you start on with some of my results? How would you start?
Say it again.
You kind of went off. You went off, and you were supposed to tell us, the audience, how your new science. You said the old way we used to do the scientific method, which is observe a natural phenomenon.
That's not what I said. This isn't the old way. This is not the way. It never was. This was never the way. This never was the way to do it. It's always been too simple.
Okay,
scientists
so
have never done this. This has never been the process that scientists ever used.
Okay, cool.
They've always used an iterative process.
Go back to it. You kind of, it's me and you having the conversation. Go back to it. Okay. Now, what did you get? Whose source is this?
Berkeley, Understanding Science.
Okay, cool. Okay, Berkeley. So Berkeley is saying this is the method they used to apply. It's too simple.
Berkeley is saying this has never been the method to apply. Never
Okay,
once
what's the
has this
method?
been the method.
What's the method? Can they show it to us?
Right there. It's not a cookbook. It's not
okay, cool.
a cookbook
It's not
method.
a cookbook. Everybody's not a cookbook. Okay. What? So how? Okay, tell us. Kind of go through it. Go through this method with us.
I already did. So the real process of science, the process of science as represented here, is the opposite of cookbook.
Okay, but go through it. What is going on? What's happening?
I already did. You must not have been paying attention. In contrast to the linear steps of the simplified scientific method, this process is non-linear. And so here you are, after I've already gone over the non-linear process, you're like, tell me the linear process. There is not a linear process.
Yeah, so what do you do when you're applying natural science for an experiment? Like what are you doing? What are you doing if you say you have science? What are you doing when you?
What are you doing? What do you mean?
Okay, you say it's so simple. And this is not how we ever did it, right?
Yeah.
Now, how go through the step on how do we do it?
I'm not going through it again. I'm not going to.
Why not? I'll go through it 100 times.
Already went through it.
Phenomenon. Hold on. So you saying observing a natural phenomenon, throw that out the window?
No, I'm saying that is not. We don't apply a cookbook process.
Okay, cool. Look. So you still, even though it's not a cookbook, you're still gonna keep observe the natural phenomenon. Put a check on that. Boom. Okay. Now, forming a hypothesis. So you're still gonna form a hypothesis.
Oh, look, it's right here on screen. See that hypothesis?
Oh my God! Hold on. So far, you said throw it out the window. Yet so far it's checks.
No, I didn't.
Hold on.
I said process. It's never been a cookbook.
Which one? Okay.
It's always
what I'm saying have never. Hold on.
Iterative
What I'm
process.
saying. Hold on. Are you saying what I'm saying right now? Never been the process. I'm gonna go through it again. Observe natural phenomenon. That has never been something we in the scientific method.
Of course you do that. That is part of what you do.
So you're not talking about me. All right, we established that. So now we established you're not talking about me. You're talking about something else. We can move on. Okay. So far what I'm saying is still apply. Okay. So observe natural phenomenon, check. Forming a hypothesis, is that a check? We still doing that?
Yeah. It like I said, the core thing. One of the most important
Conducting an experiment.
Just a second.
Conducting an experiment.
Yeah.
Are we still conducting an experiment?
Of course you're doing an experiment right here. Yep.
Are we still following the scientific method?
No.
At what point we're not following the scientific method?
So here's the thing. You think that it's a cookbook. You think it's a step-by-step. It's a step-by-step thing. It's not.
It's
all of the different things that you do. Listen. All of the different things that you do. Listen, stop talking while I'm talking. Tools that we use in the toolbox of doing science. But it's not a sit down and do step one, check. And if you didn't do step one at step one, then you didn't do science. That's not it. That's not what people do when they evaluate whether or not something is science or not.
Give me a point where you're not using any of those.
So
okay, look. Give me a point where none of these will apply.
So that doesn't make sense either. Anyway, so here we go. So here we're gathering data. So we've got
what? How does it? Yeah, you saying it's not always the case. It's not the 5th grade version. At what point? At what elementary? It's no longer going to be applied.
So the rigid dogmatic process of doing a cookbook is never how it's done. You don't just do that, right? You sit down, you think about it. Well, how can we do this? What's it going to take? How is it going to happen? And when you're doing it, you don't, unless you're a middle schooler and you've never done science before and you're working on your science fair project and you're like, Daddy, what do I do first? Well, then, okay, go ahead. If you need a step-by-step instruction on how to do it because you've never done science before, awesome. Go get that step-by-step so you know how to do your science fair project.
We got you. Okay. Now we're in a university level. We're on the university level. How do we go about it now?
Yeah.
We're no longer in the 5th grade version. Now we're in a university level. How do we go about applying the scientific method?
What you do is you say, well, what do we want to figure out? Where are we Where did stuff happen
In a
before?
university
What was
level,
going
we don't
on
apply the
prior to
scientific method.
this?
Somebody
What's the
please quote.
state of the art of the understanding for this different field that I'm looking at, right? So, for example, you're like, hey, I want to study neutrinos. Well, what's the case? You know, where are we at with neutrinos right now? So you might do something like you'll go and you will explore the literature. See that? You might say, what is the current state of understanding of neutrinos? And so then you're going to go and you're going to read a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to get up to speed on what the published literature says about neutrinos. And then you're going to say, okay, well, where are there holes or gaps in the idea? What's not being understood well about neutrinos? Well, do they change from electron neutrinos to tau neutrinos to muon neutrinos over time? Well, maybe it does. There are some people that think it might. So let's go and let's say, well, let's get a hypothesis, and let's hypothesize that maybe neutrinos change over time from different electron, tau, and muon states. Maybe they do. Oh, well, that's a good hypothesis. How can we test that? And so then you'll sit down with your other colleagues maybe, or brainstorm and think, well, how could we do that? Well, if we could shoot them and have them go for a certain amount of time before we go and test to see if they have had a chance to change to a different flavor. Oh, okay, well, that's an interesting thing. Is that something that we can even do? And well, it does. Yeah, let's shoot it from Batavia, Illinois to a mine underneath Sudan, Minnesota, and see if over that distance, because there's a certain amount of time that they take in flight, see if they change flavor. So then you'd go and you'd propose that, right? And of course, then you need to get some funding. You got some community work to do. You've got to go and say, well, what's the benefits? And you've got to convince the people that have some money. Are you going to solve some everyday problems with it? Well, maybe not a whole lot of, big problems are going to be solved by it, but we might have some better understanding of stuff or whatever, so you got to make your case to the money people, right? You notice none of this was dogmatic or, check. Here's the cookbook, right? What do you think?
There was no science being applied at all. Did you even mention anything about experiment?
Yes, I did.
Did you even mention anything about experiment?
Yes,
what was
I
the
did.
experiment?
I did mention. I said, let's try.
What was the experiment?
I was explaining it when you interrupted me. So when you ask a question, here's a hint. Here's a hint, goofball. When you ask me a question, if you want me to answer, then you stop talking. Okay? So here's the answer. The experiment that I covered in my talk there was sending neutrinos from Batavia, Illinois to a mine under Sudan, Minnesota to see if they change flavor from electron to tau to muon neutrinos over that distance between them.
That's not a valid hypothesis, though.
Of course it is.
No.
It's a 100% valid hypothesis. This is an actual experiment that people actually did. Scientists at an actual university actually did this. You said you wanted a citation by actual physicists at actual universities, and that's it. That is what they did in it's called the Dune experiment, and they're actually switching from Sudan, Minnesota to a place in South Dakota. I don't think it's quite up yet, but the point is they from Batavia to Sudan was a certain distance, and it takes a certain amount of time. And they've got some results from that, and they go, well, a certain amount of them change flavors. Now we're going to send it farther away over to Sudan, not from Sudan, to a mine underneath Sioux Falls area of South Dakota, because it's farther from Batavia, Illinois. So there's more time for those neutrinos to potentially change flavor. Now, that is the experiment, the hypothesis there that they actually proposed and actually have gotten funding for and are actually doing this real science. So here you are, not a scientist. You don't have any experiments. You're not published. You don't have any science that you've ever done that you can say, well, here, I know science better because here's my actual, right? All you have is armchair, right? You're armchair quarterbacking, right? It's Monday morning, and you're like, well, that's not the right way to do it. You're not, you didn't get there. You're not the scientist. You don't get to say that they're not doing it right. They're the scientist, not you. Some people are wondering if you are. Some people are wondering if you are Dick Wayne. So I've got Dick Wayne in my chat that also doesn't understand science, but the non-understanding of science is a common way amongst flat earthers. So I think that you're probably not. But are you Dick Wayne?
Do any professors ever contact you and tell you how much you embarrassed them with what you're saying, or they never do that?
Scientists or professors are like, yep, that's it. And in fact, I've got one in the chat right now. Eric Burns is an astronomer, and Eric Burns has said that you would fail his science class. He's an instructor. So
he's not a scientist, though.
Of course he is.
What experiment has he ever done?
Eric Burns, well, actually, I had him on. We talked about spectroscopy. He's done some spectroscopy. It's on my channel if you want to look at it. You can watch the whole interview where he talked about the spectroscopy he did.
That's the experiment? He's done some spectroscopy, if I can pronounce it.
Some what?
You say he's done something, like he's done that was his experiment, doing something? What did he do?
What spectroscopy based experiment did he do?
He did
Eric, give a one sentence explanation of your experiment that he did.
No. I don't want to kind of move too fast. I want to come back to you with this, right?
I've got, by the way, I've got another university professor, David Brock, is in the live chat. He said, I have never thought that. He's never thought of you are the one that's suggesting that some university professor might find it embarrassing. He has never thought that. So Eric Burns says the research I did was with ultramassive white dwarf stars, used data from the Hubble telescope. So there you go.
That was not no experiment.
Of course it was.
That's the problem with you guys. I think there's no hope for you guys because you guys don't know what an experiment is.
Of course.
You don't know what science is. You don't know what an experiment is.
To be clear, he was studying at a university under the tutelage of a professor at the university doing these experiments. So you said earlier in the conversation when you're in the chat, you wanted a citation from an actual physicist or from an actual university, and I've got both of those for you. Pretty good.
What did it say? What did your citation say?
What's that?
What did your citation say?
What does my citation say about what?
Yeah. What did it say?
I don't know what you mean. You're being a little vague there.
Okay, what did your citation say? It said that we no longer use the scientific method. What is
no.
Can you?
We never has it been the case that scientists used a dogmatic step-by-step requirement method. That's never been the case. You talk as if at some point in the past it was used, and then now it's not used. It's never been used. It's only ever been flat earthers that thought that was the case. And other science deniers like you.
So I'm gonna read some citation. They're not from flat earthers. It's all over the place. But let me see. I'll give you one.
You are all over the place.
From Max Planck, experiment is the only means of knowledge in our disposal. Everything else is poetry, imagination.
Okay. Got it. I agree.
From University of Rochester Physics Labs, the scientific method requires that a hypothesis, right? You say it's Because you saying that there's no method, we don't use a method, but everything that I'm reading have to do with a method, where you have observe a natural phenomenon and everything. Method, I'll give you this one, right? From Penn State University, there should be 3 category of variables in every experiment: dependent, independent, and control variable.
Yeah, we had all those.
Okay, so when is it not? If you keep using a step, why you keep saying there was never a step and we don't follow no step? Because what I'm reading here is a step. From, again, from Penn State University, there should be 3 category of variables, right? You're following a step because you got 3 categories of variables in every experiment. And before the experiment, you're going to have a hypothesis. And before that, you're going to have something you're studying, right? Dependent, independent, and control. Dependent, the effect, result, the prediction. Independent, the cause, that which is varied or manipulated. So in your experiment, what was your experiment? Hold on. In your experiment, what was your dependent, independent, and control variable? That's one. And number 2, hold on. What's your independent variable? This is what it asks. That which is varied or manipulated the effect. What did you manipulate? Hold on. When you went to Antarctica, what did you vary or manipulate to produce this effect?
Our location on the Earth.
So location is a control variable, not an independent variable.
It's the independent variable is our location.
Okay, there you go. You show your ignorance again. I like that. Okay. So we established that
how is that not an independent variable? How is varying our location not an independent variable?
Varying location, your location is always a control variable. It's never.
No, isn't it? It was the independent variable in our experiment.
That's the problem. You think changing your location is manipulating or controlling.
Yes, it
your
definitely
independent
is.
variable. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
can you? I'm not even going to ask you for a source because that's pathetic to even think that you think in a scientific experiment. Changing your location, so moving from one part of the room to another part of the room is manipulating or varying. It's the independent variable. Makes your look. Wow, you don't know location is a control variable, then nobody can help you.
No, it was the independent variable in this particular experiment.
It was what?
We varied our location. Do you not know that we varied our location? Because I've been. Let me explain this. I've been in Minnesota on December 14 to 17 previously, like last year, right? In 2023, I was there. And the sun did not circle overhead for 24 hours a day. And so then in 2024, I varied my location by going to Antarctica. And based on the hypothesis I mentioned earlier, I was testing that hypothesis to see whether or not there was a 24-hour sun, because the globe predicted a 24-hour sun, flat Earth circling sun. Flat Earth did not predict a 24-hour circling sun. That would contradict it. So by varying our location, we're able to test that. It was amazing.
So your location is the cause of the effect.
No, it was the independent variable. Yeah.
Yes, which is the cause of the effect. So I see you don't know what you're talking about, and you're humiliating yourself. I don't know why your friends is not helping you, because by saying by saying your location was the independent variable, you saying the cause of the effect is not the Earth in anything else. It's the location. The location, you manipulated the location to prove that. And that's dumb what you're saying. I don't even know why I'm even repeating it. But however, because
are you where you can turn your camera on?
I don't need to do that. A location is always a control variable. But however, it's the dumbest thing to say.
Hold on. You said you were going to.
Hold on. You saying the cause of your effect is location.
Well, you said you were going to.
All right, hold on. I'll turn it on. Just because I said I was going to.
Yep. See,
I'm a man of my word. Okay.
Eric Burns says you would not pass unit 0 of
I love you guys because you know what? Why don't you? I should be saying the dumbest stuff. You guys supposed to be
You are
smart.
saying the dumb
Why would
stuff.
you say your location is the cause of a 24-hour sign? You think your location is an independent variable, and that you manipulate it, and it caused a 24-hour sign. Wow.
Monkey Cat Pat Pat has a question, but that's not a question, Monkey Cat Pat Pat.
I'm not used to talking on the camera.
So we have, I mean, people in the chat all up and down are saying the location is
He
the
said
IV. IV's location says Billy J 36. We've got Doomy says the IV is not always the catalyst.
Exactly.
You moron.
So
we've got Eric Burns says this guy would not pass unit 0 of my class.
The independent variable.
We've got Larry Scott that says you also have the variable of the date. Yes, it is.
Okay.
We've got.
Hold on.
Let's see. Lifey says, ask him to explain.
What about independent variables? So what I got to do with an independent variable?
Lifey says, ask him to explain why it cannot be an independent variable.
It's always control. It's not.
You've just made a statement. Can you explain why?
It's not something you can vary. You can't vary time. Vary it. It's not something. Location, because it's a location. It's just you're not doing anything by changing your location. You're not causing the water to boil.
I changed my location,
right?
And we weren't testing about water boiling.
You're not causing it to rain. Listen. If let's say I'm here, right? It never rained here, and I changed my location. I didn't vary. I didn't manipulate anything to cause this effect, right? It's not a cause of an effect. Me going somewhere, if I go to a place that always rain, and I'm telling everybody, look, I'm here. It never rains here. I go there. Look, it's always raining there. I'm not manipulating anything. I'm not manipulating it to cause it to rain.
All right, now watch this.
I'm changing my location where it's always raining.
I'm going to change my location. Ready? It turns out I can change my location.
So it's not it's a control variable. It's never an independent variable. Location is not a phenomenon. I'm happy you're doing that because it makes me look so smart.
So, Monkey Cat Pat says I'm calling it now.
I ain't gonna lie. At least you guys.
Monkey Cat Pat says I'm calling it now. This is Dick Wayne. I don't think so. This is just the same
dogma that Flurfs have been instructed by their Papa Flurfs to believe. They've never actually done any investigation on how science is done.
No, it don't make sense because
did you read this? Did you read this?
You say yes.
I've read it. Have you read it?
Hold on. That makes no sense.
You haven't read it.
That makes no sense. Every citation I read,
100% of your information.
In every experiment, you need a dependent, independent. When is the time when
100% of your information you got from flat earthers. None of your information did you get from scientists. Nothing came from scientists.
So everything I just read, hold on. So you saying everything I just read, hold on. Oh, you saying everything that I just read, the quote, the citations I gave you are from flat earthers?
I'm familiar with those citations.
The University of Rochester
they came from Nathan Oakley.
I didn't know that.
I know that you were instructed by Nathan Oakley eventually to have those citations.
So hold on. So hold on. So they didn't come from Rochester.
No, the citation came from Nathan Oakley.
University of Rochester. Nathan Oakley went to Nathan. Okay, yeah.
No,
so Nathan Oakley went over there, made them put that online,
your Papa
or made them do that.
Gave you those citations.
So what's
you did not go and take a class. You have not performed science.
No.
You have not done anything. You don't know any science that has been done using your super hyper dogmatic version of science. That you can't even name one scientific discovery that has used your particular thing that you think is the only allowed way.
And you could even go to Nathan Oakley. Listen. Prove I'm a liar. prove I'm a liar by providing any of Nathan Oakley audio that quote what I quote.
I certainly can. But I
Because
can't
none
right
of
now.
what I read. Thank you. Mic drop. No. You just made a claim. You claim my citation.
Oh my goodness. All right.
You smart guy. Go on there real quick. And pull out one of the things that I said, one of my citations that came from Nathan Oakley. And I'm gonna read it again so you could to help you out to prove I'm a liar. Hold on. Okay. I gave you Penn State University. If you could find Nathan Oakley giving you Penn State University, I give you Wikipedia as well. University of Rochester, right? And I didn't even read that one. Experiment. Once the hypothesis has been established, it is time to test it. The process of experimentation is what sets science apart from other disciplines.
All right. Still waiting. Still hoping that you can turn on your camera here, as you said you would.
Okay, I did turn it on, but I'll turn it on again.
I don't see it on.
What you looking for me online to see if you can find a mugshot or something?
No, it just said that was my rule for tonight.
Okay. Yeah, but it's funny. You said they don't use the scientific method, but I read plenty of citations.
Turn your camera on.
They never say we won't be using
Talk
this.
less, camera more.
It makes no sense.
Talk less,
Every
camera
citation
more.
I read, the scientific method.
Talk less.
Who? Oh, okay. My bad. I thought, you know what? I forgot. You got to press another button.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're a funny guy. You said they don't use it, but every citation I give you agree with it. When they're not using it, why are you agreeing with my citation that says every experiment has a dependent, independent?
I did identify them.
Independent variable is location.
I did identify the independent and dependent variable. And all you have is nuh-uh.
But look, why would you do that? You're too smart for that.
I identified the independent variable.
Okay. It was bogus. It was a control variable. You changing your location.
No, it wasn't a control variable.
You didn't make it rain. What you did, your action did not cause it to rain.
We weren't testing rain.
Your independent variable. I know. There was no testing. How you test? You know what a test is in a scientific experiment? What is a test what are you doing when you're testing something in a scientific experiment? What are you doing? What is the researcher doing?
We're checking to see if the prediction matches observation. Right?
The prediction matches observation.
Yeah, that's the test.
And how do you do that?
Well, in our location. And then we saw if our prediction, a 24-hour circling sun, was observed, and it was, confirming the Earth is a globe.
So hold on. So you didn't know it was, you don't know yet. You're going to check to see.
Yeah, because there were people that doubted that the last 125 years people have been seeing the circling sun in Antarctica. And so even though there's 125 years of documentation of it, we brought some flat earthers to see it with their own eyes.
What about you? Have you seen it before that?
I have seen it on camera, on video multiple times. Several different accounts, personal accounts of people who saw it.
Thank you for everything you're telling me that I don't really want to know. I want to know, have you been there before that? Did you ever been there before that?
That was my first time. Why does that matter?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Okay, this was your first time going to actually check besides the videos and everything else you mentioned. I got you. I know you already. I've seen videos myself and then plenty other claims of it. But Yeah, Maktoon, like, thank you, man. You helped me a lot, man.
All right.
By telling me your independent variable was you changing your location.
So just a second here.
First of all, you don't even know if you're gonna see a phenomenon, but
so I don't know if I can pipe this through. So I'll just quote. I have a transcript from Nathan Oakley. So both Rochester and Penn State are in this quote here. So
what was these quotes?
So now you're going to have to listen. Use your ears, not your mouth. Okay. So he is all right. So the point you've asked, right, is where is the Rochester paper? Does it ask for a dependent or an independent variable? And he's pointing out the Penn State define what an experiment is as having a dependent and independent variable. So there.
Specifically identifying in this one, this is Flat Earth Debate 188. PewDiePie is a genius. That's the name of the video. You can go grab it yourself.
At 1 hour 48 minutes in, he's talking about both the Rochester paper and the Penn State the citations. So there it is. Your citations that you brought up, the provenance of your citations are Nathan Oakley.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you saying...
hold on a second. This is where you concede that I got it right.
Yeah, I concede. Yeah, look, everybody, Maktoon is right. Maybe they, but I wasn't. I didn't really get it from them. But it's cool. I'll let you get that. But let me ask you this: are you saying if I go to any other university, that won't be the same case?
Here's what I'm saying. If you go to you asked me a question, I'm going to answer. So this is where you stop talking. If you go to those places, if you go actually to Penn State University and you find the person that wrote it, you go to Rochester University, you find the person that wrote it, and you ask them, you sit down with them and you talk to them about what you think is the way to do science, they will say, no, that is not the way to do science. Your hyper rigid version of it is not it. They will say absolutely with zero exceptions here that the trip that we did to Antarctica was 100% a valid scientific experiment.
Okay, now you're telling us, so you spoke to them and that's what they told you?
I did not speak to them, but I know that if you ask
what they're going to tell me before they tell me? How did you know that? Oh, okay, so here's
smart.
So
I know that because I'm smart. Because I understand the philosophy of science.
Hold on.
They are scientists.
You said answer my question.
And that's what they do.
Are you saying? Hold on. Are you saying if I go search at any other university, they will not back up? They'll be saying something different.
I'm saying go find the people that wrote these things that you're misinterpreting, and ask them if your rejection of the trip to Antarctica is science, or if my version of it is science, and they will agree with me in that view.
Okay, he only go to Nathan Oakley University people.
And then
where else can I go to find it different than what they got on there?
Berkeley, understanding
different. Do you have other universities saying something different than what they're saying?
Berkeley, understanding science. Go there.
Okay, and Berkeley said what they're saying is they don't use it.
But Berkeley says
Berkeley
says that
don't have a independent variable.
You asked me. I'll answer. Berkeley says that the cookbook approach is the wrong way to do it.
The cookbook is the wrong way. I don't know the cookbook. Can you give me an example of what the cookbook looks like?
Yep. I'll do it again. It's like you weren't paying attention. This is what we call the Flurf reset.
You did. Okay. Oh, this is a cookbook.
There's the cookbook.
No, you're right. This is the cookbook version, right?
This is the one that is not the way that people actually do science.
The cookbook version is ask a question, form a hypothesis. Okay. When are you never gonna be doing these?
You do those things.
When are you never gonna?
Those are ingredients.
And I never presented that. Okay.
They're ingredients here in the actual process that people actually use. Right? It's not a rigid dogmatic approach where you go 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps.
Hold on. I think you saw me. How many? Okay, so you don't go no steps. So how do you do it?
You do
go all over
whatever
the
is
place with it,
necessary for the particular circumstance, and it may or may not be
So you
in
don't
any
do one step
particular
like
order.
this?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Give me a circumstance. Okay, good. Give me a
Our trip
circumstances
to
where you
Antarctica.
do it any other way. Okay, so your trip to Antarctica.
Yeah, so the
was
reason how
a
it was different was
way.
because for 125 years, people have known that there is a 24-hour circling sun. So the observation had actually already been done. And that's pretty cool, right? So we knew beforehand.
Okay, hold on. How is it different?
It's different because we were able to we were able to already test the hypothesis without going there.
Oh my God! I wish I was recording
You can find
this.
it on find it on YouTube on MC Toon Live. It's on my channel. It's live streaming right now.
Good job, yeah. I'm about to go look it up now. I mean, as soon as I get it, I gotta rewind that. Yo, Muktoon, you're doing a good job, man. Thank you. Embarrassing yourself in the group and the
problem is here
Glowbreakers, I
that-
appreciate
that
you, man.
I've
You
got
did a good
science on my
job.
side.
I wanted to say this.
You don't. You have a lack of understanding on your side.
Can you show me science next to you? Can you show me science next to you? Send it on your side. Let me see. Let me show me science.
We've got science
on your side.
on
I
our
don't
side.
see him. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this because this is funny, right? I wanted to ask you this. This is so funny. I love it. So let me get this straight. Okay,
I thought you were
but
gonna ask
I
me
don't get it, Muktoon. You was just arguing about how you did follow the method. But, yeah, but I think it's in a form of a comment as well. So you said you follow the method because you said you observe you had a hypothesis.
We didn't have this. We didn't have this dogmatic method.
Independent variable.
Yeah, we didn't
You
have
had
a
all
cookbook.
these
We didn't
things.
apply a cookbook.
But you just claim when you rewind this, you're gonna see. You say you everything. When I went to the book, when I was reading it, I said you have you said you had all of those. You said you had
all
a
of those
dependent variable. You had an independent variable.
Yeah, all
you
of
had an
those
experiment.
all of those
you had
ingredients.
everything. So when
all of the
did you ever
ingredients
not
were there.
apply that method though?
Yeah.
When did you never not? Oh, they did, but it's just like kind of like a domino.
we
it was
did
just all mixed around, mixed
for
left and right, right and left, right. It was
particular experiment that we were doing. We went through a different process than some rigid top down process.
Hold on. Do you think? Are you telling me going somewhere is an experiment? Like if I'm here in let's say New York and I go to LA,
just travel.
That's an experiment.
That's just travel. You need to. What's your hypothesis in this?
Yeah, but when I travel, no. When I travel, I could look. Oh, before I get there, I could be like, you know what, my hypothesis.
Okay. Let's go a little simpler here. Let's say you do it in December. Let's do this.
Muktoon, why are you following the baby step though? Why are you doing the fifth grade version?
I'll go through. Instead of going New York to California, let's do New York to Florida. So let's go to Miami, okay? And let's do it in December, okay? So here you are. You are in New York in December. It's cold. It's winter. It's snowy. And it's not very comfortable outside. And so you say, well, the prediction is, the hypothesis of the globe is that because the rays of the sunlight get to the earth in a more direct rather than a slanted angle near Florida than in New York, there is more heat energy per square area in Florida than in New York. So let's vary our location to get to the other place, to Florida, and see if it's warmer there because there's more heat energy per unit area. There you go. So there you could vary your location to test a hypothesis. What do you think? I don't know if you're talking or not. I don't hear anything.
So your location was the cause of the effect. Because you listen, let me read it again for you. When you vary your independent variable to see if it's the cause of your dependent variable. So you saying the cause of your dependent variable was your location. Had you not changed your location, it wouldn't happen.
Did you measure a change? Did you measure a change in temperature?
Would it still happen?
Did the temperature change in your other location? Yes. So by varying your location, you did get a change in the temperature.
Yeah, you did that, right? You the researcher manipulated your location and proved that your location is the cause. You proved your location was the cause of the phenomenon. So if you didn't manipulate
you're misunderstanding
your location, the phenomenon wouldn't happen.
Done here. That's unfortunate.
What if you didn't vary your location? What would have happened?
If you didn't vary the location, then that would make it difficult to perform that particular experiment. But it's completely valid to just call up somebody there and say, "Hey, what's the temperature there?" So you don't need to personally go there yourself. You can have a colleague do it for you, right?
I don't know, man. You
over your head.
You ball of fun, man.
We got a little whoosh problem going here.
Yeah, it's over my head, all right. It's over my head. Yeah. Oh, you too good, that. Man. You too good.
Esteban,
it went over my head.
So just a second here. So we got Esteban Ilabaka says that any scientist or university textbook will say location and time are perfect location and time. Plenty of examples. And
does he have a citation for that? Hold on. Can you give us a citation, please?
I certainly can. Just a second.
Where your location is your independent variable. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll pull up one on time. How about that? This is a good one. Let's see.
What we're talking about, though.
Second, I gotta find it here. You online. Go to your book. Let's see. Position versus time. Okay. All right. Oh, this is a good one. Excellent. Okay. So this is a organization called OpenStax that writes textbooks that are freely available textbooks, and they're published under Creative Commons, so anybody can use them and for whatever purpose they want. It's very nice of them to do that, and they are used by high schools and colleges and universities. This is the high school physics book. In fact, I'm using it right now because I teach physics. So here we go. We've got section 2.3 of OpenStax High School Physics, graphing position as a function of time. The horizontal axis is usually considered the independent variable, right? And the vertical axis is the dependent variable. All right, so there we got that. This is just one part of that. So that's the step one. So give me a second here.
We don't have step one and step two. Remember the new one?
All right.
The new one is not. It's not a cookbook. There's no step one and step two.
All right. So here, I'm just step one of showing you what you asked for. So in physics, time is usually the independent variable. In physics, time is usually the independent variable. Now, here's a funny thing. Nathan Oakley has instructed you to think that time is not an independent variable, and it can't be. But look at that. This is a citation. OpenStax physics book. This is a high school physics book, and they also have college versions as well. So there you go. Here's one example of saying that time is usually the
Can you read a little more of it? Can you read a little more of it so I can see what else they have to say, just out of curiosity? Read some more about it. Let me see.
Other quantities, such as displacement, are said to depend upon it. A graph of position versus time, therefore, would have position as in vertical axis, dependent variable, and time on the horizontal axis, independent variable. In this case, to what would the slope and y-intercept refer? Let's look back at our original example when studying the distance and displacement. So the drive to school was 5 kilometers from home. Let's assume it took 10 minutes to make the drive so that your parent was driving at a constant velocity the whole time. Of course, in meat space, none of this is exactly perfect. The position versus time graph for the section of the trip would look like that shown in figure 2.11. Now, here's the thing. You did not take physics in high school, correct?
Yeah, I did.
You did take physics in high school?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I had chemistry. I know I had chemistry and what other class did I?
You probably took the mandatory classes, biology as a sophomore, chemistry as a junior, and then you stopped taking science, right? Your senior year, you did not take science, correct?
No, I did. I think my last year in high school was I took chemistry my last year.
Okay, so that's when maybe you were a year behind in your science coursework in high school.
Maybe, I don't know. I think my senior year.
Yeah, okay, if you were taking chemistry your senior year, you probably were a year behind in your science.
So you saying time based on your quote, and I'm gonna do further look into that because I don't know. Time cannot be independent variable because time is a concept, right? Well, it's a concept. You cannot manipulate
for a citation. I gave you a citation. In physics, time is usually the independent variable.
Yeah,
in physics, time is usually the independent variable. So let me make this super clear here for you, goofball. You have no physics education because you never took physics class ever. You never took it. So your opinion about what is and is not science is completely.
When did I give my opinion?
Your opinion was, you just stated it. You just claimed that time can't be an independent variable, and that's wrong. Completely wrong.
Any idiot would know that because time is a concept. You cannot manipulate time. It's a concept.
Yes, you can. You can wait.
How do you vary time?
You wait.
You're not doing anything. It's automatically you. What else?
Exactly.
What do you mean wait? Hold on.
In fact,
time is something. It's a concept. It's not something you can.
Yeah.
You waiting. Hold on. Do you think you waiting is doing something to time?
Yeah, it's waiting. Yeah, that's your independent variable. Time passes.
Oh my
it always
God.
passes.
You cannot do anything but. There's nothing else you could do. What you mean wait? There's no waiting for time. What else? Was you gonna grab it and hurry it up? Hold on. Can you hurry time up?
We don't get to control the passage of time. It goes at a certain. It always moves forward at a certain rate unless you're moving super fast. Relation to somebody else. Anyway, so let's say you were curious about whether or not some chemical process was. You said you took chemistry, right? Some chemical process was happening, and you were to do an experiment where you had four different things that you mixed together, and then you measured one at 1 minute, you measured one at 2 minutes, measured one at 3 minutes, measured one at 4 minutes, and then you plotted out the different results. You just used time as an independent variable.
No.
Yeah,
you did. The cause of those. No.
That is exactly
you didn't manipulate time.
How science is done.
That's automatic. Listen.
And you don't understand science, but you think you do. And that is very Dunning-Kruger of you.
Hold on. You think you're doing something to time?
You're waiting.
What did you didn't do nothing to time. Waiting is not manipulating or varying time.
It's oh my God, this is so embarrassing for you.
No,
Jack Bennett says this is like watching a cat. This is like watching a cat work a leaf blower.
Somebody's definitely gotta clip that one. I gotta. Why would you say these ridiculous things though? Like, what makes you say that?
I'm quoting. I'm quoting right here from a physics book. the class that you never
I'll
took.
give you an example.
The class you never took.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how you don't have a brain on your own, right? I was reading the definition of science, right, and I noticed there was a mistake there, right? So
wait,
because I know what science.
You think that you are going to correct the definition of science?
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. You don't
God,
think you're smart enough to do it.
That's precious.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta find it. Anybody pull up the definition of science and I'll show them.
That is so adorable.
Man, I gotta go in the house.
Dark Star.
I would show it to you because it's really in the definition. In the definition, they have that it mentions something about a theory, like they use a theory. It was supposed to be a hypothesis, but they said theory.
Yeah,
and I noticed
they're used interchangeably.
I know what science is in the definition.
Yeah, but when you're being particular, when you're being pedantic,
they're not the same thing.
When you're being pedantic, you can't, right? You're not going to use them interchangeably. So in science, a theory is something that's been confirmed through many experiments and can make predictions. Right, that's a theory, right? So the theory of relativity and quantum theory and things like that. So here's the camera.
Those are not theories.
Okay.
As far as like
look at this.
It's not a theory.
Well, I've got somebody smarter than you. This is Turtle. What do you think, Turtle?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'd rather be a goofball than
Turtle.
Or whatever
Turtle
that is.
They like you to goofball. Hold on. Why did you hiss at him? Look, he's nice. Apologize. Turtle, apologize.
Yeah, I'm a good guy, man.
Hold on. You know what?
It's okay.
He can't hear you. Let me get the earbud in. Let's get the earbud. All right, say hi to him.
I'm a good guy, man. I'm a good guy. What's going on? Oh, don't get mad at me. Do you know the Earth is flat? You agree the Earth is flat?
Well, I mean, my daughter was kind of poking at him. He's hissed again. Oh, it's because the dogs are in here. The dogs are like, hey, I want to play. And the cat's like, not gonna play. All right, you said you were going to bed earlier. I gotta think of that. You gotta, yeah. Oh my God.
Your cat agrees that the Earth is measured flat.
Book. It's a great book. Yeah.
You? Who trusts you with a text like that?
Me?
Somebody trusts you with?
Of course, I do physics. Yeah. You've never done physics. What do you know? Right? You've never done. Have you ever? Let me. Have you ever applied a kinematic equation to figure out anything ever? Like, if I tell you, I drop something from a high height, and as I say, okay, it was 10 meters, okay, and it took 1.4 seconds to fall from the top, from 10 meters up until it hit the ground. If I told you that information, could you apply kinematics to tell me the acceleration?
No.
You see, you're not tall enough to ride.
I can tell you you're going to be measuring the Earth flat for the height.
No, none of that. I just use a tape measure. It has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. I just have a...
Yeah, perpendicular to... you're going to be measuring a vertical line perpendicular to a horizontal plane of reference, right?
No, you also don't understand geometry.
No. Say no. Just say no. Say no.
Here, hold on.
Oh my God! He never answered none of my questions.
Here we go. Hold on. I got.
It wasn't a question, but it was a factual statement.
Okay. Now, have you ever done celestial navigation?
No, I never done celestial navigation. No.
Do you know who has? This guy. This guy has.
I've watched a few videos of people that have as well. So people that's done it.
Who has done celestial navigation that you've watched?
There's plenty of videos of
people actually like taking of people taking three star readings and then getting their latitude longitude from it, right? Yeah. That's true. Okay.
Plenty of
So
people
I can do
online
that.
with celestial
And now I'm going
navigation.
to
Yes.
show you here. Because the geometry sometimes is a little confusing to flatties. So you see here, I've got, you see that? This is on the surface of a, look at that. You see that? Also, oh, look, here's my astronaut. Say hello. On the surface of a
what?
sphere,
A 2D circle?
the observer here, right? Well, this is I've
2D
bisected the
circle?
sphere. I've bisected the sphere.
Well,
right? So here we've got the observer sitting on the surface of the sphere, and we've got a certain elevation above the surface of the sphere, right? Now that observer sights to the horizon there, and you'll notice.
But you got nothing but straight line.
Well, this is a curving line right here, right? You see this one here. This one's curving. See, look at that, it curves. That's pretty easy to see a curve, right? I hope you're not trying to say this isn't curved. That would be a ridiculous thing. Okay, anyway, so we've got this observer that sights from where he is to the horizon. Now you'll notice that this yellow line is straight, right? You see that? Is that straight? Do you agree? Okay, well, you're muted. You muted yourself, so okay, it's okay. It's straight. We all see that. Now this line here is curved, right? Now you see how this is curved. Now, here's the geometry of it. The fact that this exists, this line here from here to here is straight, does not affect the fact that this line here from here to here is curved. Got that? Got it? Is that making sense so far with this geometry? It's not that hard. We're not into anything complicated.
Can you draw a straight line? Can you draw a straight line to where it's not curved at? Can you draw a straight line to where it's not curved?
You want me to draw a straight line to where what's not curved? I don't know what you're asking.
So it's not curved there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I misheard. Okay, forget it. Because it seems like you were pointing between the guy and the yellow line. You said
here,
it's a straight line. I don't see the straight
here line. From his, he has a sextant, right? From here to here is a straight line, right? See that?
His height of height.
You agree that this is a straight line? Yeah, it's angled.
So he's looking down?
Now, I know it's a straight line because I drew it with this ruler right here.
Okay. So you're saying he's looking down on a straight line?
Yeah.
Down on the globe.
What's that?
You have terrestrial reflection.
Yes,
all lines bent
and you'll notice right here.
So how did you get a straight line when you don't have a straight line on the?
Yeah, just a second. So radius, elevation, refraction. We can come back to that after we do the basic geometry first, and then we can do the little bit more complicated. Okay. So we've got that straight line there, and this is the important thing. The fact that this line is straight did not change the fact that this line is curved. Correct? Is that right? Well, it is. Denying it would make you ridiculous. Anyway, so now we've got this other line here that's going out to off screen, off paper, star. It's too far away to see, right? Or too far away to draw on the paper here. But but that particular line here and this line here form an angle, just a single angle. And I labeled it here, oddly enough, theta 2. You see that theta 2? That's the angle right here. Now, when you're doing celestial navigation, this isn't the angle you want. You want theta 1. This is the angle you want. Anyway, so we have theta 2, and since we know some things about the radius here, right? See that radius, elevation? We have the radius and elevation. Given those two things here, we can determine this angle here, which I didn't label with a theta. I labeled it as dip. So since we know certain things about the shape of the Earth, we can determine this angle here. And when people do celestial navigation, they apply this dip, which includes the radius, the elevation, and the refraction. All three of them are included, but we'll come back to the refraction part later. Okay. So when you know that, you take this angle here, you subtract that, and that gives you theta 3 right here. Now this one here, this line here, you see this line here? What's this line here?
At eye level?
You know what that? This is eye level. Yep, exactly. So that is
level, perpendicular to a horizontal
this line here. Just a second. This line here is parallel to the line that's tangent to the surface of the Earth. I didn't draw that here, but this is parallel.
So you're still measuring the Earth flat?
Nope. You see, this curve is still a curve. None of this geometry changed this. None of this geometry changed this.
Your measurement is the horizontal line.
Nope. The measurement was this angle right here. I measured theta 2.
Before you continue, are you measuring the ground?
No.
So what are you measuring?
I'm measuring this angle right here.
Yeah, why are you measuring it?
Why am I measuring it? Well, I haven't gotten to that yet. Once I get to the end, then it will become obvious why we did it.
So hold on, but so hold on. So you saying you're not measuring the ground?
Nope, we're not measuring the ground.
You're navigating the ground, though.
No, we're not navigating the ground. We're navigating
I think you're doing celestial navigation. So you're not doing celestial navigation?
We are doing celestial navigation. Yeah.
So why not? So you're not navigating. So you're not navigating the ground. You just.
I'm not. You don't navigate the ground. That is a ridiculous statement. I don't know why you'd put those three words together. That's very silly.
So you're not navigating the Earth. You're not navigating the ground.
You're not navigating the ground. No, those words in that order don't make any sense.
So what are you doing? You're just standing there.
Well, what we're doing is we're getting. When you're doing celestial navigation, you're getting a position fix. That's what you're doing.
Okay. What's the purpose of celestial navigation?
To get a position fix.
Why are you trying to get the position fix? Hold on. Okay, yeah. So you want to know where you are for what?
So do what? So that well, there's many reasons why you might want to know where you are. If you're on a ship on the ocean and you're trying to go somewhere,
if you're trying to find a
reason, yes. Now there's other reasons that you might want to.
You just say you're not navigating the Earth. You're just standing there and getting an angle.
Hold on a second. The dog sat on my head. All right.
He just said he's not navigating, but he said the point of celestial navigation is navigating. But he said, I said, don't put these words together. He's not navigating. Okay.
No. So we use we're not to be pedantic. We wouldn't say celestial navigation. We do something else. But the common parlance, we call it celestial navigation. But we're getting the position fix. That's our goal. We want to know where on the surface of the globe this person is standing. And so if you are in the middle of Ohio and you're like, hey, where are we? I don't know. Let me do a little bit of get me some angles to stars and determine where we are. Now, I've done this. I was in northern Minnesota. I did this, and I published a challenge for $100. And I got about 12 people that did it using the globe and 0 people using flat Earth. So what do you think?
How did you even measure this globe? How did you even know you have a globe in the center of it? And what's up with the lines to the center of this globe? How did you get to the center of the globe? How did you measure that?
Well, this is an application of geometry. So I can let me finish this, and then we can go to the history.
I say,
yeah. Hold on. Let me finish going through this. I'm almost done. Hold on, goofball. I'm almost done. Okay. And then if you have further questions about like refraction or how the historic radius of the Earth was determined through different methods, we can go after that. But let me I'm almost there. Let me finish. Okay, we've got this line that's parallel to the tangent to the surface of the Earth here. And if you're curious on whether or not that's a possibility, is no problem at all. Euclid Book 3, Proposition 18 is what you need. Anyway, so here we go. We have that. So now we can get theta 3, but we want theta 1. Since this is 90 degrees, we can take the complement of theta 3, that gives us theta 1, and then we use this to do circles of equal elevation. That's what these are down here. These are circles of equal elevation. Here's one. Here's another. And where they intersect, so say you just got 2 sightings, where they intersect, you're at one of these spots. And then this is a third one I drew here. So you do 3 of them, and then you reduce your ambiguity there.
Equal elevation or flat areas.
What's that?
Circle of equal elevations. You talking about flat areas?
No, what I'm actually talking about is this angle right here. See this angle?
I'm talking about the circle of equal elevation.
I'll explain the geometry. Okay, I'll explain it to you. So what we're doing is we're saying that this angle here, theta 1, on this circle right here, every position on that circle measures the same theta 1 to the star, and the GP of the star is here. Now that's not talking about the surface of this circle here. That has nothing to do with the surface of the circle.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Where that circle you drawing? Where will it be? Where will it be located?
On the surface of the globe.
My God. On the globe, you don't have a circle of equal elevation because there's different. All parts are not equal.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, once again,
you don't have how you have a circle of equal elevation, 3 circles of equal elevation on a sphere? How is that possible?
Yeah. So what that's because I'll explain it again.
In the whole area.
Yeah. If you'll stop talking over me, I'll explain it again. So this angle right here, theta 1, so that the circle of equal elevation is where the star, and if you want, you can call it theta 3 because we're talking elevation instead of departure from vertical. So elevation is right. It doesn't matter. They're equivalent. So circle of equal elevation means that everywhere using elevation, everywhere has the same theta 3. And since everywhere on the surface of a sphere, it's certainly possible that there is a circle that all has the same elevation to the star if the GP of the star is here, right?
Hold on.
In this instance, the GP of
the GP is right there.
Yeah.
How's that a circle of equal elevation over there?
So here's one position where they have that angle. Now down here,
how do you have a circle of equal elevation?
Just a second.
That's here.
Just a second. So here's another spot, approximately, that would have the same angle of elevation to the star up that direction. So,
and the GP of the star is on the ground.
Yeah, the GP is on the ground. That's the spot where. So at this spot on the hold on, I'll explain it. This is the spot where if you look at that star, it's straight up from you, straight up.
You have a GP on a tangent.
A GP on a tangent. I don't. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you say where's the tangent line?
The tangent. I'll show you in a second here. I got to draw this out here for you. So here is. There you go. So there's another point. Because I've bisected the sphere, there's only 2 points.
You said you're going to show me the tangent line, and then you said here's another. Why don't you show me the tangent line before you go on?
Here's the problem. You are rambling, and you're asking one question, and then I'm trying to explain it, and then you're not waiting for me because you're super rude to explain the first question. You won't let me explain the answer to the first question before you ramble off the second question because you're extremely rude. You have impulse control problems. You should probably have a little bit of a thought about how rude you are to me. All right. So I'm giving you FE. I'm giving you free education right now, and you should be a little more thankful for it. So here is. Remember, I'm a physics teacher. Here is this line is tangent to the surface of this curve right here. Okay. So you asked about the tangent.
Where's the GP of the star?
GP of the star is here.
Below the tangent line.
It's labeled GP.
So hold on. So the GP is below the tangent line.
Below it depends because you can be in different positions.
What do you mean depends? I'm looking at it. What does it depend on? It don't depend when I'm looking at it.
To this person's location, it's below. Yes, you could say that.
But the GP is a straight line. How is the GP below?
The GP is not a straight line. The GP is a single point.
No, I mean the GP. Okay, so you don't have a GP on the tangent.
The GP is not on the tangent. No, it's not.
So what's the 90 for the tangent? Where's the 90 of the star?
Where's the 90 for the star? It's at the GP.
Yeah, where's the star 90 degree? What?
Yeah,
how is that?
The GP. Yeah,
where the star at?
Wait, what you're doing right now. First of all, you have a globe already, right? And then second of all, you're looking at it from a side view, right?
Yeah, I bisected the globe in this diagram.
And eye level is perpendicular to surface level, right? Two straight lines.
Eye level is
when I look at.
Hold on a second. I need to correct you on this one. Eye level is perpendicular to vertical.
Yeah, perpendicular to vertical, two straight lines.
And it's only at this one. It's only
line.
Only at
in
this
a vertical
point.
line.
Yeah, only at this point. At a different location. At a different location, eye level is not the same. It's a different spot.
Listen, eye level is perpendicular to sea level, right?
No, there's a dip. Measured dip.
What?
Yep.
Eye level is perpendicular to sea level.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is.
So when you check your height, right? When you measuring your height, you on a mountain, you measuring your height, or you measuring the height of that mountain. It's in respect to sea level. It's perpendicular to sea level.
Here we go. I'll show you. So here is a theodolite reading of water, and this is at an elevation of what is it? 21.9 meters, right there. Okay.
Elevation. It's an elevation perpendicular to sea level, right?
No, it's not. In fact, it's not. So here you go.
What?
So this line right here, you see this right here? This line right here? This is...
Perpendicular to what? Perpendicular to what?
This right here.
Is perpendicular to what?
The height is just the height. The height is not perpendicular to anything. It's just a scalar.
Respect to what? When you describing your height in respect to what?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me look at. Stop interrupting. You're so rude. You lack impulse control. I'm giving you free education, and you're just being rude. Could you please have a little more self-control? You asked me a question. I'm being polite, and I'm giving you the answer. And then you're being rude by overtalking me. So stop it. So eye level is not perpendicular to sea level. So here is this line right here. See that? It's actually labeled. This is eye level.
Eye level is parallel to sea level.
No, it's not. This is proving that it's not.
Yes, it is.
This is proving that it's not. You can say it all you want. I have actual evidence that it's not. Right
two
here,
straight lines. Listen, you're looking at two horizontal lines. Hold on, look.
Look at that angle.
You're looking at two horizontal lines.
Nope. They are not parallel to each other. Eye level is not parallel to sea level. There's a gap.
Yes, it is.
Right there.
It's parallel to surface level.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Proven right here. Okay. Right here. There's a gap. See that? There's a gap.
So your audience will know of all your ignorance.
I mean, I'm showing it right now on screen, goofball. On screen right now, this is through a theodolite by a professional licensed surveyor in the state of Maine who measured this right here. He set up his theodolite. Now, when you're measuring with a theodolite, straight up is 0. And so he turned his theodolite to 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. That's what this is. And eye level, right there, that's this line, eye level, it did not match the horizon of the
What do
water.
you mean it did not? It's parallel to surface level.
No, it's not. It drops.
How is it not?
Right here, it drops.
You know what? It's two straight lines.
No, they're not. One is curved.
Which one is curved? The horizontal.
The surface of the earth is the one that's curved. This is a measurement of the curve of the surface of the earth.
The word horizon is a straight line.
No, it's not.
Oh, can you show me where horizon is defined as a curved line?
The word horizon means limiting circle.
No, a horizon. So no, a horizon is the straight horizontal line.
Yeah, I don't care about word games and semantics. Here's the thing: this right here is proving that the horizon is not a straight line, and that water does in fact curve on its surface. If it did not curve, then the water would be right here.
Is that a 90 degree? Is that a 90-degree angle?
Yes, it is. That's why it says 90. Right? See that?
How you get a 90 from a curved line?
Easy.
He just said it's a 90-degree angle off a curved line. Wow.
Yeah, that's not hard at all.
There's nothing else to say.
I already gave you the citation. You remember? What was my citation? Euclid.
Hold on, you gave me a citation that said 90 is a vertical in a curved line? That's what you're saying. When you said 90 is a vertical in respect to a curved line.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
You say you're saying a lot of stupid stuff right now. I'm sorry.
I know geometry a lot better than you. That's the problem for you.
In geometry, okay, so you said in geometry, a 90-degree angle is a vertical line and a curved line. That's what you're saying.
No. Here,
what?
Let me.
It is. You just said a vertical line is such a curved line to give you 90. So how is you not saying that? You contradicting yourself. You said you have a vertical line touching a curved line that give you 90-degree angle.
A little more free education. All right. So this is. Remember the citation? I gave you a citation. Do you remember the citation I gave you?
Citation that you get a 90 from a curved surface? Hold on. That you get a 90 from a curved surface? I've never seen that one.
Yes.
Okay, give it to me. Go ahead.
So remember what I said? I said Euclid, Book 3, Proposition 18. See that? Euclid, Book 3, Proposition 18. Okay? Right there. You see that? I want to make sure that you know this is what. Do you remember I said that just a couple minutes ago, right? Remember? Do you remember when I said that?
Go ahead. You said you're giving me a citation from this one book.
Do you remember?
Listen. This is that same book you showed me. Hold on. Yes. Is this the same book you showed me earlier for the citation for the You gave me a citation earlier. Was it on that same book? Go ahead. Okay, give me a citation that 90 is a horizontal.
Remember, all right, hold on. Listen up. I just want to make sure that you remember. I'm trying to remind you. Just a couple minutes ago, I said this to you. Quote, Euclid, Book 3, Proposition 18. Do you remember when I said that? Do you remember? I mean, you were busy trying to talk over me because you're exceptionally rude. But anyway, I mentioned it. Now, here is how you get a curve, a 90 degree to a curve. Here it is. You see that? Right there. You see how this circle is curved, right? Right? Nobody would ever dare to say that this circle is not curved. Now we've got a tangent right here. This line EG is tangent to the surface of that curve at point C. And then the line FC is perpendicular to the line EG. So there you go. That's how you have a perpendicular to a curved surface. Not a problem at all. Euclid's Book 3, Proposition 18. This is over 2,000 years old.
Sense. You're so idiotic. The 90
this
is not
over
off the curve.
2,000-year-old. geometry.
Hold on. The 90 is not off the curved surface, it's off the tangent.
Yes, of course it is. Now, does the fact that a tangent exists change?
You say you got
Does
the
the
90
fact that
off
a
the
tangent
curved
exists change
surface.
this being a circle? Is this still a circle?
Hold on. You say you got the 90 off the curved surface, not a tangent.
Yes. Yep. Right there with the tangent. Isn't that a beautiful
my God.
thing?
Do you remember what you said earlier? You could get a 90 from a curved surface.
That's it, right there. That's how you do it.
You didn't think you could get a 90 off a tangent. And how did you measure this globe, first of all, to have a tangent?
Well, we can get back around to that. We can come back around to that. What? I'm just going through the process.
So you just introduced something you never measured. Or you can't even say how you measured it. I have, in fact, personally measured the center of it. How did you measure it to even have a globe? How did you measure the globe to have a tangent for it?
Well, let's go right here. This is one way to do that. See this right here? This gap right here. You see this gap?
So that's how the globe was measured.
You asked me a question. I'm giving. This is one of multiple ways.
But here's my question: how was the globe measured? So you telling me this is how the globe was measured? Who measured it that way?
This is one of many ways. Right? Here's one.
Who measured it that way?
That's not as precise as the guy. He goes by the Main Surveyor. That's the name of his channel on YouTube. Right? So that's one way to do it. Now that's not as precise as other ways.
You said that's one way to measure it. What did you show me? You showed me 2 lines, and you had the mice going up and down it. That's how they measured the Earth. They took a mice and they went up and down the lines, and it said, okay, measured.
A mice. What do you mean a mice?
Mice.
I don't know
the thing you're moving on the computer. Maybe I'm saying it, pronouncing it incorrect.
The cursor.
The little arrow point. The point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was explaining it.
The thing you was moving is the mice.
God, that's the.
That's how I knew it by. That's how I know it by.
This is the mouse.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mouse, not
That's what
mice.
I'm talking about.
Mouse.
Mouse. Yeah, that's what
mouse. Got it.
Mouse.
Now, this thing on the screen here. This thing right here, that's the cursor.
We got
that's not the mouse. And it's definitely not the mice. We call that the cursor. So say it with me, cursor.
What about cursor?
That's what it's called.
But you got nothing but level lines here.
Okay. All right. Now,
you measuring it flat.
All right, you asked me how did you measure the radius of the Earth from this, right?
You measure, how did you measure it?
I can answer that.
How was it measured?
I can answer that. I will happily answer that. The problem is that you're getting extremely interrupty. Okay, so leave yourself like that, right? So that you aren't tempted to interrupt me. So this gap right here tells us all we need to know, and the theodolite is the tool to measure that. He measured the gap to be 7 minutes, 39 seconds. So that's a portion of a degree. And here it shows the theodolite turned down to where the horizon is matching that crosshair. Up here, it's not. It's above it. See that? He moved it down. Now here are his notes that he took in the field. These are his field notes. All of these are the measurements that he took all the way down.
What was his elevation?
I got to go back to the previous page. Yeah, because the elevation is an important thing. His elevation was 21.986 meters. Okay, so here are back to this is the zenith angle, mean zenith angle, 7 minutes, 39 seconds. Remember I said that before? 7 minutes, 39 seconds. So this is his workbook where he did all of this work. He did 10 pairs of measurements, so 20 individual measurements, and he averaged them, and then he averaged all 20 of them together to get the 7 minutes 39 seconds, with a standard deviation of plus or minus 3 seconds and a standard deviation of mean of plus or minus 1 second. Got that? Now here is the formula. Now here's the problem. I don't know if you did enough math to understand this formula. Does this make sense to you here? This formula? Right? R, radius of the Earth, equals height, that's h, times the cosine of alpha. Alpha is that 7-minute, 39-second, over 1 minus the cosine of alpha. So that there, we give this ratio gives us the radius of the Earth. That's how we did it.
I said how you measure the globe and you already have a radius?
Yep, right there.
But how you have a radius when I'm asking you how you measure it?
I just told you. I just went over the whole process.
How's the radius is in your measurement when you trying to find out how you measuring it?
Right there. I just explained it all. I went through the whole thing.
God,
Did you not pay attention?
You
didn't pay
No,
attention?
you're not listening to me. How you already have a radius?
Right there.
How did you measure
We
the
got
radius?
How
did you measure the radius?
All right, I'll go over it again. We take the elevation. We know the elevation, right? 20-something meters. We've got...
So you measure the flat then?
No.
How you get the... Yes. How you measure the elevation?
How do you measure the elevation above? Well, he used a GPS in this instance. Okay, so
he measured his height, right?
Right. Yeah, he used a GPS to get his height.
Off of what? Off of sea level?
Yeah, height above sea level. 21.
So he measured the Earth flat.
986.
So he measured the Earth flat for that?
No, he did not. He used a GPS, so the GPS he used, he actually used a GNSS, but that he used to output his position in a spherical coordinate system. Right. Anyway, let's not worry about that. We can come back to that if you want at a different moment. But here's the important thing. So you've got his elevation above the sea level, and he's got the angle to the horizon here. And then this is the formula. Now, if you don't understand this trig here, then that's going to be an issue, right? But if you think this is wrong, then you go ahead and tell me how this is wrong formula. Anything? Okay. I wouldn't expect it, right? This is the correct
elevation. He measured the Earth flat, so I don't understand how, and I don't even understand how. Yeah.
I know that you don't understand because you're not tall enough to ride.
Your elevation
so you asked, let me just make it clear. You asked, how did he get the radius? I went through it. He knows the height and he knows the angle. And this relationship here outputs the radius.
How did you measure the height? How did you measure the height?
He used a GNSS receiver.
How did they measure the height?
How did the GNSS receiver measure the height?
Yeah.
By satellites orbiting the Earth, outputting their location in three-dimensional space, and the receiver used that to multilaterate the position in three-dimensional space.
You could just be singing. You could just be singing a song. I don't know. Like you saying all of this. I don't. Where did you observe that? Did you observe that, or were you told that?
No, I'm just explaining to you how GPS.
I'm just asking you a question. Where did you observe that? Did you observe that? Is that something being told to you?
Observe what? How GPS works?
No. You said the way you said he didn't measure it, right? He said he got his measurement somewhere else, right?
From a GNSS receiver, yes.
Okay, from satellites. Now, did you see that happening? Like, how did you confirm that took place? How did you confirm
that he used a GNSS unit to get his position?
No. That the satellite took the measurement. How did the satellite take the measurement? How do you know the satellite?
The satellite did not take the measurement. That's not how it works.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my original question. How was it measured? That height?
The height. Okay, I'll explain it.
You said you already know the height.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked you that
again. All right, I'll explain it. You have to stop talking.
No. You said he knew the height. I said, how did he know the height? Who measured it?
I'm ready to explain to you how he did it. This is the part where you stop talking. Okay, he used a GNSS receiver. The GNSS receiver receives a signal from a satellite. The satellites constantly output their position in three-dimensional space along with the timestamp. So when the receiver gets the signal from the satellite, it knows based on how much time has elapsed from when the satellite transmitted the signal until it received the signal, and it knows the speed that the transmission traveled at. And so by doing that, it can identify the sphere, because it knows the time, it knows the location, the sphere in which that receiver must be existing at that moment, the sphere in three-dimensional space. Then it does it for another satellite, and another satellite, and another satellite, using at least 4, preferably 5 or more satellites, to get its position where the spheres intersect. And so when you have 4 different positions, you have your position in three-dimensional space, and you use the 5th as a checksum. There you go.
The height was measured.
That's how the three-dimensional location of the GNSS unit was determined, and he pulled the elevation from that. Yes.
So that's how it was measured.
Yep.
Wow. Cool story.
And he does give the coordinates as well there. Right here. Here's the coordinates, and those are from also the GNSS.
I'm not disputing the height is incorrect. Yeah. I'm just saying what you have to say about how the height was measured is bogus.
So you're saying that GPS doesn't work?
I never said GPS doesn't work.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. He used GPS.
No, it's a satellite. Satellite. You said satellite. Satellite. What satellite? Nobody ever seen no satellite.
I've seen satellites. Hold
on. With your naked eyes?
Yeah.
How many miles away was the satellite?
Hundreds, many hundreds, yeah.
And how big was it?
They're small. They're just pinpoints.
So, and your eyes can see it. All right, we done here. Okay.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. So at that distance, you think at that distance?
No problem at all.
Okay, I'm done here. Thank you. I rest my case. I don't know. Maybe somebody else want to come up and do this with you, but it's like 1:23, and I'll just be down here listening. It was fun though. There's a lot of clips, a lot of nuggets there. I gotta.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can find the full video, MC Tune Live on YouTube.
Man, yo, it was so good talking to you because you're a comedian. But thank you for letting me up, man. You have a pleasant one.
All right, thank you. Well, that was an awful lot of top left there, and I just gotta say, goofball, if you buckle down and you really work hard, you might be able to pull off top left next year. I think you're a worthy contender, and you really could potentially do it. I mean, there's some strong contenders this year. I don't know if you could beat out Fred next year, but anyway, we've got Steve from Wormhaven says, Flat Earth is fart in a jar. Jack Fetter says, it is impossible for anyone to be this stupid. No, it's not, in fact. It is completely possible. We just witnessed it. It did actually end kind of nice. We've got Jack Fetter says, camera, please. I want to see the face of ignorance. We saw it. I don't know why it's so common on TikTok to get the up nostril shot. Right? Just have it out here. It's okay. You can have it here because we don't need the up nostril shot. Nobody wants that. Anyway, Zoomer says, what temp does water boil on Mount Everest? He went down the Oakley water boil script a little bit. He was teasing out that direction a little bit. Scott Evans says, remind him that he had pilot names from last night. If they're FAA pilots, they're in public databases, so they aren't private. Let's have them, Dick. All right, so this goes, Scott Evans is saying that this guy's Dick Wayne. I don't think that guy's Dick Wayne. He parroted the Oakley script top to bottom. His Papa Flurf is Nathan Oakley. So we should have on the Flurf Wiki a thing for what was his name? Science and natural law, right? Belinda, you have to have your camera on, even if you're on NASA payroll.
Yes. Must I keep it on?
Just want to make sure that I gotta follow the rules. Okay, I didn't.
I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed listening to you dither with Mr. Still Doing It. He is most entertaining, is he not?
He is entertaining, though he does get a little too interrupty and rude. Impulse control could be something he could work on.
Not saying I'm always good at that either.
We all have our struggles.
I wanted to ask you if you were familiar with Nick Baggerly and his work with the he did an expedition to drive across Antarctica in electric
was that this past
it was like 2016.
Okay.
And he's circumnavigated latitude, pole to pole and the other direction, which I'm forgetting right now.
West?
Yeah, east to west. A couple of different times on his drive around the world projects, and I just thought, he's got some good footage and some good things he did in Antarctica that kind of your trip down there kind of reminded me of it.
Okay. People are saying my audio was weird. So I've got this. This isn't actually a what you think it is. It's actually just a DJI mic. I have it plugged in. For the microphone,
which I don't know. Unfortunately, on the phone you can't hard select your input and output.
Oh, live pause. What's live pause? I don't know what that means. Did something happen? Hold on. Let me. Okay. I can hear myself. Okay. Let me try this. Is this me? Oh, these are the microphones. One of these is the microphone. All right. I need it to so I can hear myself too. Anyway, the stream did pause when you played with the mic. Oh, well, this one's not doing anything, unfortunately. I wish I could, because it's a much better microphone, but I can't force it to choose it. So anyway, I thought I had it figured out because I used beforehand. I recorded just using the camera. I recorded and tested that microphone. It was going to microphone, but not in TikTok. So anyway, Scott Evans says, I said to remind him. So Scott, that wasn't actually Dick Wayne. So Dick Wayne is in the live chat who's derping it up, claiming that he knows Flat Earth pilots. Just got to name them. And of course, they need to be multi-engine certified pilots, because the private pilots, the private licensed pilots, they just use these sectional charts you see right here that I have. They almost can't even go out of their own section. They can only go a certain distance from their own starting airport. They don't do any long range navigation, so it doesn't really get all that exciting. They wouldn't know the shape of the Earth. any differently than a firefighter would driving their truck to a fire. They don't need it. So, okay, Icy Spin has a clip. I'll watch it. So I actually have an app, Blackmagic, something that lets me pick the microphone, but I did, and it still didn't stick. So I don't know why. It's a pain in the butt. So maybe I'll just get what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. I'll get a better Bluetooth headset, maybe. I don't know. If people have suggestions, maybe that's it, that I can use on my phone, because I can't use the TikTok studio because I'm not on Windows. So Jackson invites you to co-host. Who's Jackson? I'm gonna try.
Hello, how are
Jackson.
you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I like your shirt.
Thanks.
Welcome.
What are we doing here? Who are you, and why are we co-hosting?
This is we play battle.
This is what?
This is we play friendly battle, like battle. Accepted.
A friendly battle. Okay. What's our battle?
This is fun. You accepted. I sent you challenge. You accepted.
That's it.
Listen. I sent you invite. You accepted. Accept.
Oh, what am I accepting?
Battle.
A battle. Okay. We're battling.
How many people watching you right now?
On YouTube, 527.
Right now?
Yes.
I have 0 people, brother. You give me some advice. I will follow everyone. I tap everyone. But when I play, no one tap me. No one like me. I'm very sad. I'm very depressed.
Oh, well, I like you. Don't be depressed.
But
where are you?
I really be...
Where are you? Where are you at? Where do you live?
Pakistan right now.
Okay. All right. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota area.
Yes. So I really believe one day maybe I will win. I get some point one day.
You will win. Okay. I don't know what the battles are. This is new to me.
You have 21 point. Alok, you have 24 point. I have 0. That's mean you win. You're gonna win.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
TikTok gets money from battles.
My screen, guys.
It's not just dumb.
Sometimes.
Okay. Oh, do people tap one side or the other then? Is that how I get points? Oh, I see. Okay. He's just trying to gain followers through me. Okay. Can you rap?
Oh, shit.
I can't. Can you?
No.
No? What skills do you have? How about, do you have any nunchuck skills?
No, I don't have get any.
Do you have any bow staff skills?
No.
Can you draw a liger? Could you draw a liger?
Oh my god, I have 40 points right now. Come on, God. I have 40 points. You know. One day.
But can you do a dance?
One day. Yeah, when I get you know someone promised me. He said I will join your live, and he sent me my first and my dream galaxy. Then I will do dance. He promised me he will send me galaxy.
Then you'll do a dance.
Yeah, then I will do dance. When I get my first galaxy, I'm too happy. I'm too excited. Then I will do dance.
What do you mean your first galaxy?
Yeah, I don't get our galaxy.
What do you mean by galaxy?
Galaxy is TikTok gift.
Oh, okay. So, what shape is the Earth?
Just so much Parola. He sent me 180 point right now. Flat Earth. You so much.
Oh, I see. I have 42. You have 180. Okay.
I have to go and win. I have a lot of point.
I see. Okay. So hold on. I need you to answer the question. What shape is the Earth?
Sorry?
What shape is the Earth?
I don't understand.
How do you not understand? All right.
Yes, I don't.
Flat, well,
come on. Flat.
All right. Well, this has been good. I think it's time to go.
Yeah. You listen. You see, I have 180 point. Flat send me galaxy. I will write here his name in my forehead.
You're gonna write his name on your forehead.
Yeah, when I get.
Will you tattoo his name on your forehead?
Like this. Oh, flat! Come on, we need snipe. They're gonna do snipe. Flat. They're gonna do snipe, brother.
Okay, so. So, I don't know how I'm winning. What did I do to start winning? It's amazing. I have 299. 7 seconds left.
Yeah, you have to win.
All right, there it is. Looks like I won. All right, well, thanks a lot, everybody. Now what? Now how do I end this?
Why I don't win? Why I don't win? Why everyone beat me every time?
Why you don't win? I don't know. I don't know how to end this.
Okay, you play one more.
No, I want to go.
Oh, one more.
Decline.
Okay. That's no, it's okay. You win. You play good. Come on.
You never even answered the question. What shape is the Earth?
Okay, Sorry?
I do need a TikTok tutorial key pod. This is brand new for me. This I don't know how to get. There's nothing like if I tap my screen, I don't get the same things I normally do. You won't even answer the question.
Yes, tell me.
What shape is the Earth?
What shape of the
Earth?
Earth is like oval.
All right, somebody tell me how to make him.
You first accept it, then you question. Come on, accept it, then you question.
How do I boot him? Jackson.
Yes.
No. I kind of embarrassed you before. I really toasted you, and I don't even know how I did it.
You just accepted. This is last battle. Thank you, flat. Accept it. Come on. Okay.
No, it's not the power button. The power button ends the whole thing. There we go. Okay. Jeez. Let's see. Darkstar 4400 said that a citation needs more than just a university as a reference. Otherwise, janitors may have published. Kango 44 says, good luck with your country bringing back manufacturing, Mike. Looks like you'll need a bunch of labor, not from your country, though, if this guy is anything to go by. Oh, my goodness. I mean, let's be honest. He's got some skills. I'm sure if they need a taste tester down at the Urinal Cake Factory, he is absolutely one of the best for the job. So 12 Wing Productions says, Toon, please don't go into general and special relativity with this nitwit. You will give him an embolism. No, it's just a quick in-passing poke that definitely he wasn't going to understand, and he didn't. Monkey Cat Patpad says, can he define level for the chat? Of course, he would say flat. Of course. And Derek the Dullard says, the lack of understanding is depressing. It is definitely depressing. So I saw for a second in here, and maybe it's just I saw By the Dip. Are you still there, Dip? So By the Dip wanted to join tonight and wanted me to actually join his, and I'm like, well, we can do a co-host like I just did there. So I messaged him By the Dip, and he didn't respond to me. I went on to one of his lives the other day. He didn't answer. We chatted real quick, and I said, hey, let's talk in DM. He didn't DM. So, I mean, how can you have a set something up if you won't even respond to a DM? It makes it kind of difficult. So, Dip is banned at the moment. Oh, was he talking naughty? I don't know if it's off screen here. Anyway, I'm gonna have to look up the whole battle thing there. Anyway, well, Dip, here's what I'm gonna say. I don't know if you're still here. If you want, I'm happy to have a conversation with you again. You need to communicate like an adult does and talk to me. So, Blackburn Big Dragon says, I'm so glad you won. I won't even begin to be able to understand what you just won, but congrats. Thank you. I'm super excited that I won. I'm going to take a victory lap. Woo! There it is. So what a man. The Dunning-Kruger of that guy is amazing. I want to say you don't. The people that don't do science have no idea of science, haven't studied science like across the board, like done actually investigation into how science is done. They are not the people that get to say how science is and is not done. They are the 100% opposite of where you'd want to go to find out how to do science. You'd want to go and you'd want to look historically at how science has been done. That might be one good way to do it. And you definitely say, well, where has science made some really amazing discoveries? Let's look at how they did it. And the way that they did it seems to have done a good job. So let's emulate how they did it. But it's definitely not this hyper rigid process. Cherry picking references to things that definitely wouldn't agree with you if you read the entire thing. Just cherry picking little things out of it. And of course, all of it is driven by science denialism, and that's the whole thing. Science denialism is what flat earthers do. They are science denialists. They know that when you actually do real science, that it all confirms the shape of the earth to be a globe. And that's why they will not accept it. So what they've done in different methods, Oakley's method is to redefine science and make it so incredibly rigid that nothing actually fits. Nothing is actual science according to their rigid method, which is, of course, wrong, because there are lots and lots of things that science has done. None of them would actually qualify by their made-up, invented garbage, not actual science process. So All right. All right. So there's somebody in the YouTube chat. Now, if you want in the YouTube chat, you're welcome to join in on TikTok, or I can send you a Zoom link and you can just jump over here. But anyway, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap up on TikTok. I'm going to go back to YouTube, have a little chat there. This has been super good. Thank you, everybody on TikTok. And thank you for helping me win whatever it is that I won. So I'll go one more time. Goofball. Start with this. Start here. Okay. When you've read this, at least chapters 3 and 4, after you've read this, then you are just inside the door of being able to have a conversation on the topic. Okay. There's other places you could go once you read that. You can get it as a PDF. I didn't read the paper book. I read the PDF. So, and for reference, rather small print. So there's a lot of information here. And Popper spent a lot of time responding to the logical positivists, the Vienna Circle. A lot of the early chapters are responding to that. So anyway, I'm going to say thank you to TikTok, and I'll catch you.
And back over here.
Of helium. They purchased the biggest amount of helium. They're all flying, bro. They launch them up with.
Do you know what helium is used for in rockets?
Phone. I would love to know.
Do you know what helium is used for in rockets?
But they're buying the helium to put in with the satellites. That's why when you watch a video of a satellite coming down, it comes with the.
Do you know what helium is used for in rocketry?
No, man.
I actually plugged
you don't know. So helium is used in rocketry as a pressurant and a purge gas. It's primarily used for ensuring a consistent flow of fuel into the engines. And they also use it for cooling systems.
I tested it before, but it didn't actually.
Okay, so it's not used for balloons.
I was hoping
it's used to make.
That's why I've seen videos of satellites coming down and they're attached with the weather balloon.
I'm still broadcasting.
Watch a satellite come down. Just watch.
There it is. I don't know what that was. Hold on. Oh, it went to another live. That's what it did. It went to a different live. Okay. Fixed all that, closed it down. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Whatever it is that I was doing wrong with my microphone, if you know how to fix it while using an iPhone, let me know. I'll do some research on my own as well. So, it sounded like Fozzie Bear's live. So, anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining. This has been an absolute fun time. Lots of ups and downs. Too bad Rhonda. I mean, we were hoping for the screaming box of one dozen screaming crazed weasels. Starving crazed. Oh my gosh, can't get it right. Box of 12 starving crazed weasels from Rhonda, but she didn't want to follow the rule. And I mean, seriously, if you want to, if you want to have a conversation, if you want to debate, if you want to challenge, why not just turn on your microphone or your camera? Appreciate that Goofball did. So anyway, I will wrap up the time here on YouTube as well. It's almost 1 a.m. And I'm feeling like a little bit of potato. I don't know about you. Everybody, thank you so much. Be looking out for next Tuesday when I'm back live again. See you then.
Pick it up. Is it dirt? Is it potato? Watch the screen and wait for the show. What's revealed, we're dying to know. Is it dirt or a potato? Check it out. Dirt or potato? Yes, I'm right, let's go. Dirt or potato? It's the game that steals the show. Look at the picture, don't don't make a mistake. Is it a spud or is it a face? Out of the ground or from his own behind? Dirt or potato, what will you find? Right on! Yo, can you tell what's underneath? A derpy mugshot or a root beneath? With every guess, we laugh and cheer. Is it dirt for a potato? Let's make it clear. Hang it up, give it a show. Dirt for potato, let's go. Skank it up, skank it up. Is it from the dirt or a funny disguise? Could it be a tater or a pair of eyes? What's in the ground or lurking around? Dirt or potato, where will it be found? Could it be smooth or full of lumps? Maybe it's grown on someone's big rump. Get your guess in, let's see what's true. Dirt or potato, it's all up to you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the picture, don't make a mistake. Is it a spud or is it a face? Out of the ground or from his own behind? Dirt or potato, what will you find? A pile of soil or a starchy friend? Guess it right and you'll ascend. Look real close, don't let it slide. Is it dirt or a potato waiting inside? Let's go, rude boys. On the garden patch or a silly trick, will you pick the right one or end up quick? Whether it's dirt or a golden spud, dirt or potato, here comes the flood. A mystery unfolds, what will it be? A lovely spot or dirt, can't you see? With every reveal, we're in for a laugh. Dirt or potato, it's the ultimate craft. Dirt or potato, guess it right, let's go. Dirt or potato, it's the game that steals the show. Beneath the earth or just pretend, a lump of soil or some dumb trend. Pick your choice, don't hesitate. Dirt or potato, now seal your fate. What's in the box, what will appear? A mash of dirt or something unclear. Make your move, we're almost through. Dirt or potato, it's all on you. Will it be fries or a dirty pile? Guess it wrong and we'll laugh for a while. Test your luck, it's time to go. Dirt or potato, let the guessing flow.